What's going on? I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
And I am Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo!
Woohoo! We're back. Awesome.
We're going to do that every time we start a segment or like get another thought in our heads because it is...
That song's great.
Sometimes
it's my favorite
in the
song.
middle of a segment for no reason.
Yeah. And we'll do different, but maybe the same parts of the song. Like sometimes we'll do a chorus, sometimes we'll do that intro, sometimes we'll do the chorus again. Whatever we want, because this is our podcast.
Yeah,
we pod together. We dod together. Pod boys for life. That's what I always say. We've been saying that for years.
Oh, yeah. That's
Give me a
our
pound.
favorite thing to say.
So here's what we're doing this week in case anybody is confused. This is very important. Last week we did our Bad Boys episode. Just a stellar, terrific episode where we looked at 1995's Bad Boys, starring Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, and etc. This week,
Taya Leone reduced to etc.
Yeah. Joe Pantoliano, also etc. Angry, etc.
Oh, I love him.
Can't sink a basket to save his life.
Family curse.
Yeah. So this week, it's been a weird week of release because I was traveling to Chicago for a sketch comedy festival, and in the days leading up to it, I had to do all kinds of stuff to get ready. So we were going to do Bad Boys 2, The Awakening, and Bad Boys 3 for Life, as separate pods. But because Bad Boys 3, came out, and it's kind of had its time to percolate, we might as well just do them as one pod. So I don't know how long this one's going to be. I honestly think it will be long, but I don't know if it'll dwarf our Cats podcast in terms of general length. We're going to
go back to 5-star run times for our 5-star podcast.
We might go for 5-hour run times.
Well, sometimes we're going to have to smush up 2.5-star runtime podcasts just so every podcast can be a 5-star podcast. Listen, and if some of them... we're going to talk about it, and we'll see how it goes. The Bad Boys franchise is weird. The first one of these came out in 1995, like I mentioned. This one, Bad Boys 2, that we're going to start with, came out in 2002. And then the third one, Bad Boys for Life, came out in this year. So there was a 7-year gap between the first two, and then a 17-year gap between 2 and 3.
As I put it before we started recording, Dwayne Wade has had oh my God, I can't get this right. Dwayne Wade had his entire basketball career in between Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys for Life.
And why is that relevant, DJ?
Because he played for the Miami Heat.
And
Gabrielle Union, his wife, was in Bad Boys 2.
That's right, yeah.
They were not married at the time. They are married now.
It's like it's the Miamiest movie ever. And do you think this was why they met? Whoa. Can you imagine if they met on the set of Bad Boys 2?
Imagine.
I mean, not on the set, unless they were like, hey, Dwayne Wade, do you want to come on the set of this movie or not?
But he was nobody at the time. He was like in college.
Wasn't he not playing for the Heat?
He was just a humble producer's assistant. He was trying to get his internship credit. He was the guy. I'm trying to think of what the worst job in this movie would be. He was the guy that had to shave Joe Pantoliano's flat top before every scene starts.
Yeah, that's not great.
Had to put a slide rule up to it, make sure it was exactly the right level.
Yeah. And you know what? He did a hell of a job. So much so that in this third one, different hairstyle, because obviously Dwayne is busy and no one can get to that, level of perfection. We are going to talk about those movies, and we're going to go Bad Boys 2, no spoilers, although not that many spoilers, and also it's a very old movie, not like very old, but it's, it's not 2 weeks old, and then we're going to do Bad Boys 3 for Life spoilers, or non-spoiler spoilers, so if you don't care about this franchise at all, listen to the whole thing. If you don't want to be spoiled for 3, you still got about 14 hours of podcast in front of you before you have to pause it. And then if you don't want to be spoiled for 2, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be tough. But
we could drop a timestamp, I guess, for when...
We couldn't we?
Drop a timestamp. Who do you think produces this podcast? Dwayne Wade?
Yeah.
Not me, which is why I suggested it.
Diggins, you can have a new responsibility. You're the timestamper. You give me all the timestamps. I mean, listen, I listen to the episodes
when I don't edit them, but okay.
Yes, listen to them. It's fine, Diggins. Listen to them like you listen to, the wind, and you hear your voices on the wind from, like, I don't know, relatives.
Pocahontas?
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more Star Wars. Just close your eyes and listen to all the podcasts of Podcast Past. Yeah.
I see.
I mean, I do listen to this podcast.
Oh, why? There's other podcasts, Dickens. No, I'm kidding. I listen to it too. I listen to it before I put every episode out, just in case I said something really stupid. And I don't edit it. I just want to be aware of it as the tweets come in. Speaking of tweets coming in.
Well, actually, I was going to say a Ren Sona hour, because we got some.
Couple of new ones. Yeah. Do you have them for any DJ?
Hell no.
Okay, I'll find them.
It just dawned on me, because the Menchies keep blowing up with the Ren Sonas, so...
Let's see what happens if I do the if I just search the hashtag, because there were a couple, but I don't know how to find them. No, I don't know how to find them, but some get tweeted to me with the word Rensona, so it's not helpful, but there's some that are more helpful.
While you look for those, I could engage in some fruitful conversation with Diggins. So Diggins, your watching of Bad Boys 2 was the first time you saw it.
That's true, until we did this docu-series, I would say, on the Bad Boys franchise. I had never seen a single Bad Boys movie in my life.
So did you enjoy 2 as much as you thought you would, or did it not live up to any expectations you may have had for a...
boy. Bad Boys 2 is perhaps the dictionary definition of a product of its time.
It's also a masterpiece.
Yes. And it's a... I think there's a podcast with this name, and I'm sure if they did an episode on Michael Bay, this would be it. It's the blank check. It is you did Bad Boys 1, now just take all the money and let your worst instincts take over, Michael Bay.
Oh, yeah. It
make
may
a
be
movie you'll never be able to make again.
It may perhaps be the purest distillation of Michael Bay I've ever seen, which is
without
saying
a doubt.
Something. But yeah, the post 9/11 energy is strong.
Oh yeah, yes. It is.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh my God, it's almost like they made a whole movie. And this, honestly, these movies 2 and 3, not so much 1 and 2 or 3 times. I think the number at the end of the Bad Boys movie signifies how many endings it has. Because 3 ends a bunch, 2 ends twice, and I could almost see the second ending just being like, you know what? Let's ratchet up the America here. I know we more or less have the movie done, but let's see if we can take it to a 10, from a 10 to a 50.
God.
We're still non-spoilers right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was curious how you received it, because I'm living in the lens of, and probably isn't a great thing, but so the first time I had watched Bad Boys 2 was for the Mostly Nitpicking podcast, which I think we did it in like 2016 or 17, and it didn't age well 3 years ago, but it's somehow aged even worse in the 3 years that have come since. So I'm still like...
I can see that there's good action scenes in this movie, and like how one could just sit down and enjoy it for what it is, but it was very difficult for me to not focus on all the... This movie is so... I mean, it's so a lot of things, but more than anything else, it's so suffused in that tough guy, macho, posturing bullshit I talked about in the first one. This one is that turned up to like 50 times what it was in the first one, where it just soaks through everything in the movie, and it's hard for me not to be like... just not to focus on that.
Oh my God, yeah. It's impossible. With our 2019 sensibilities, I'm sure it's a little weird, but with what would have been like 2004 sensibilities, I think it would have been a little weird. This movie, man, if you are not a cool, tall... I'm going to throw white in there, but let's keep it as...
Throw white in there.
I'll throw white in there even though it doesn't, but it kind of does fall into it. Straight man, you are not going to... There's going to be at least one bit of this movie that is going to piss you off, and I get it, especially if you are not straight, because this movie thinks that is so funny.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
It's like this movie was given to a 12-year-old to punch up. Like, the script was written, and they were just like, can we put some more jokes? I was like, what if they say they like each other's butts? Because this movie is full of that. The next one, 3, will have some slightly more mature sexism, or not sexism, homophobia, in the sense that they should hug, but they don't. Like, in a part where they would say, like, hey, man, I love you. They say, like, hey, man, thanks. You know, like, it's very, it's not quite homophobic, but it feels like a grown-up version of 2 that still doesn't want to, like, I don't know. We'll talk about 3. I have a really hard time figuring out what the feelings of 3 are, who's right in 3 and who's wrong, what the lesson we're supposed to get from 3 is.
I'm not sure the movie really knows.
No, absolutely not.
But we'll get to that.
But anyway, I got some Sona, so I looked up the Twitter hashtag. Thank you for everybody putting the hashtags in, because that makes it super easy. Okay, so I'm going to go through the ones that I do not remember reading before, which I think are most of the ones from January 7th on. So we got this one we may have done. I can't remember. Glish McClaver, hashtag Rensona's name, Steve Two Dicks, trait Two Dicks. Pretty good.
Damn. Is one of them a lightsaber?
It is not clear. But if it is, then that's pretty good. I don't know. That's better than a lot of these other ones. Like, he's going to have a huge advantage. If they're both lightsabers, then...
they're done. They're done.
Yeah. Another one, we got Carl, just no name. The Rensona is for stabbing enemies off a cliff. Cliffs are important in the Star Wars franchise. I think it is so funny how much everything, like, obviously Star Wars is like circular, right? It rhymes. But how many things they repeat in these movies, kind of because they think they should, in like future Star Wars movies. But it's funny because if it happened once and it happens to that character a second time, it's like, Jesus, dude, you're gonna fall for this again. Anyway, Alex Seasons Fleetings got another hashtag Rensona. Boxo. He is adept at finding scraps and making weapons to use in battle. His signature move is to fashion armor plating out of salvage and use the Force to hold it around him like a suit. He calls himself Death-Resistant Metal Person. Very good.
That's good. I like these on-the-nose ones.
Yeah, right? Charles Hockenberry. My Rensona is Badass, B''DASS. He uses a baseball bat with nails in them. He can only see in the dark.
That's awesome.
And this Charles replied it with a GIF, the can't see shit GIF. Very good. We got Fate Candor. We got mine is Cold Steel, so it's CO'OLD STE''EL. I first of all, besides the fact that all of their Rensonas and all of their, the way that they're all done is terrific. I love how like haphazardly putting an apostrophe in a couple of words in a name makes it Rensona, because it does. So mine is Cold Steel. He was born with a special power. He is stronger than all his classmates at the Jedi Fighting Academy, served in the Resistance, and then during the fight against Palpatine, they were fighting Palpatine, turned to the dark side. He lost part of his ear in battle, which is why he does not have part of his ear. Please stop PMing me and asking me why. Weapon, 9-inch nails on finger. He uses them to kill people who show everyone his deviant art, like Kevin, that piece of shit. Hashtag Rensona. Very good, very good, very good. Okay.
Does he perhaps tell people he kills that it's nothing personnel, kid?
It's very, very possible. Listen, these are the kind of questions that we need some sort of like visual dictionary or more unnecessary supplementary material to answer.
We're going to need at least 15 EU novels covering all of these Rensonas.
I think I told you guys I'd read the Knights of Ren, the Kylo Ren book, like Star Wars comic book that kind of covers the Knights of Ren, and they're equally stupid in there, but they have a boss named Ren who's just a guy, and it's weird. But he's like a cool guy who uses contractions and is like, "Hey, Luke Skywalker, get some." Like it's very strange.
Wait, hold on. You're telling me that the name Knights of Ren ultimately just means there's a dude named Ren and they're his knights?
I do. I'm trying to rifle through my giant box of like comic books. Yeah. Okay.
So then what's Kylo Ren's deal?
He has he wants to be a Knight of Ren. Before he is even Kylo Ren, he is like, I'm assuming he kills this guy at some point. He's like talking to Snoke, who is wearing the most adorable hat. And Snoke is like, you were asking me about the Knights of Ren. And Kylo at that point, I believe is called Ben Solo, is like, I think I can learn from them. Snoke says, yes, perhaps then, a spoiler for this one comic book, who cares? Yes, perhaps the Knights would be a good stop on your journey. There is only, well, let me do the Snoke voice. What is it? There is only so much I can teach you. At the very least, you no longer need to define yourself in the way Luke Skywalker required. Should I say Ben Solo, Jedi to be? Also, this isn't his voice. I'm just doing a voice. The Knights of Ren might not be interested in him. And Kylo's like, I hate that name. So I guess he does change it to impress them. But yeah, later in the comic, you get a flashback to when, I mean, the whole thing is a flashback because it's an origin, but it's Ren, this guy named Ren, who has he's got a helmet that they all have helmets that are like helmets you would get in Destiny. That's just like, this one looks a little different from the other one. And
that one hit home for me.
If you Google this Ren guy, you'll see what I mean. But he gets in a fight with Luke and Ben and some other guy who I can't remember the name of. Ben says, Ben's like, this is Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. He is a legend. And Ren says, yeah, well, I'm Ren. These are the Knights of Ren, and we are legendary. So that's Ren for you. But yeah, he has like an exposed arm. He's wearing like a comfy tee and a cape, as opposed to all the rest of these dudes who are wearing like their dumb little outfits. And yeah, Luke Skywalker bodies them all. Like there's not even a fight. He just there's some he just force pushes and they go like, ah!
They don't even get to be cool in their own tie-in comic?
No.
That's amazing.
In fact, one of them, who's at one point, because Ren's like, go get Luke Skywalker, dummies. But Ren doesn't. And also, Ren has a lightsaber that if he stops touching it, it explodes, which is kind of cool. He has like a Dead Man Switch lightsaber. But anyway, one of the Knights of Ren is like, take him, he's only one man. Or he's like, take him, he's only one man. We'll never know. And Luke says, yeah, we don't know what they sound like. Luke says, I am one man, but I am not alone. And he like pushes 5 of them out of the way. The Force is my ally, and it is powerful. And then he really I mean, this is a fun Luke Skywalker comic. You're clumsy, untrained. You use the dark side like a hammer. But the light side is a blade, and so am I. Very, very cool. But anyway, so this Ren guy sucks. But also, he doesn't die. But he has a face. Like, he's a guy. He takes his helmet off, and he kind of looks like comic Magneto. I don't know what his deal is. I really don't know. It's very confusing to me. But anyway, if anyone want to know what a Knight of Ren does, don't buy that comic, because it still doesn't tell you. No one will ever know. I imagine Knights of Ren, Kylo Ren 3 might tell you. I don't know. I don't think we're there yet. I think it came out last week. Anyway, a couple other ones. These are the last few I'm gonna do. It says no firks given. My hashtag Ren Sona name Ken Ren. Ken-Ren. Costume: the outer skin that Rebel Wilson discards in Catch the Motion Picture. Weakness: has the flexibility and points of articulation of a Ken doll. Special powers: wins every fight because he always has the high ground. Very good. We got Caden Wache. I'm definitely getting that one wrong. My hashtag Ren Sona is Bruce Wayne, BRU apostrophe capital ZWAIN. He has a belt made of lightsabers that holds batarangs made of lightsabers, but I didn't last too long because I didn't think hard enough about it, and my lightsaber utility belt cut me in half. We got Jwitter. My hashtag Ren Sona is Duck Ren. DUK apostrophe DUK space Ren, who runs around the battlefield using force powers to hypnotize his opponents with a tap on the head. All hypnotized opponents then chase each other around in circles until they all collapse. Very fun. We have Anthony Milio. Hope I'm not too late. My hashtag Ren Sona is Sturklar. STR dash capital K apostrophe LAR. He's really strong in the Force, really, really strong. And he's super edgy like Kylo Ren, but way cooler because, shut up, he uses the Force to throw Star Destroyers or Wookiees at his enemies off screen.
Oh.
And then a note for Diggins: such a missed opportunity for @this is an odd name when introducing the Rensonas. A Rensona is ... not a dog. What are we doing? Why do we even bother?
I should have done that. They're 100% right.
We were so close. But listen, this is why we love it when you guys, help us out here, because it's tough.
To add on to that last one, it's never too late to submit the Rensona, so don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
Else, if you haven't submitted them
Rensona's just
yet.
a permanent feature now.
As long as you hashtag Rensona, I'll see them and I'll hopefully remember to throw them up there. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. So yeah, definitely hashtag Rensona. Yeah, just great stuff. I would say don't read the comic is fun. Honestly, it's not a bad comic. But so far there is what I would consider no satisfying explanation for what a Knights of Ren is or what they do besides what we were told they do in the visual dictionary. I am sure soon we will get some kind of Knights of Ren novel where they speak in on personalities. In fact, there's because now they're putting out all the Star Wars Lego sets that they couldn't put out before because they kind of would have spoiled stuff. They put out one with a Knight of Ren in it, and I think if I tried, I could I think based on his weapon and his head, you could probably figure out which one he is. But he's just called Knight of Ren, so that's not great. He worked really hard on his silly outfit and gimmick, and you're not even gonna let him put it on the Lego box all the other Lego characters are just some bullshit name. I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming that's what they are. It's pretty strange. Oh, also, I wanted to thank K-Dog Gaming, who drew my Rensona as just because I was not complaining, let's say thirsting for fan art. And some people drew me as a cat with Infinity Gauntlets on, which are terrific. And yeah, thank you so much, Brandon Needs Healy's. For that one, which I should, and there's one that has a flat body and one that has digital fur technology implemented, which is great. But K-Dog Gaming made a version of my Knight of Ren, and not necessarily unlike the other ones, but I have the keytar is this beautiful purple, I'm gonna say object, but it's beautiful purple number, and it's what the Knights of Ren needed. It has gold accents, but man, imagine if they were all a different color. This is the first time I thought about this. Power Rangers. Wouldn't that be fun?
But how
we'd have to know their names.
How would we know how edgy they are if they're not all in black?
Not black? That's a very, very good point. However, I love it all. It's very terrific. So keep sending Rensonas, anything Ren related, because it's great. Speaking of not so great children. Let's talk about Bad Boys.
I was going to say, speaking of, nonsense that it's not related to anything else that's going on, Bad Boys.
Wait, no. It would be this. It would be, so that segment of the podcast is done. Let's get to the next segment. Whoa!
Oh, yeah, that's it. Are they saying awesome? Because that's what I thought it was. I thought they were saying awesome.
I looked this up the other day because a lot of the lyrics confused me. I didn't even know. So the word they repeat, that is the chorus is "we do it for fun."
Yeah.
I thought it was something else. What is it? Dun, dun, dun. You'd know where to find me. I thought it was a song about Miami, and it was you know where to find me, in the club or whatever. But that's not it. So none of the lyrics are clear.
Can I be real with you guys?
Yeah.
Did not realize there were words until this moment.
So I know all of the words in some form or another. This was honestly, if you had to ask me what's a song it would be this. I used to listen to this constantly.
It's a good song.
Also, yeah, here's how you know this isn't what there's not lyrics. That chant is the chant of racist Native American schools and football teams because they did it at the Chiefs game.
Yeah,
it's the tomahawk chop kind of thing. Although it's apparently the Florida State marching Chiefs chant, which makes sense with Florida.
Yeah.
It's a bad, it's a really bad, rap as far as the words go. It doesn't make any sense. And at a couple points, in the rap tells you it doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
For instance,
so it's nonsense that doesn't know what's going on and is also wildly racist.
Yes, sir.
It's the perfect theme song.
Yeah, well, it's like I'm trying to think of one that's pretty good, or like one that I can remember any of the. Like, it's like if in the middle of a Jack White song, it's at a point Jack White was just like, that doesn't mean anything, by the way. That last thing I said, just nonsense words. Because there's a lot of that in this, but it's not even to hit rhymes, which is kind of what you'd expect. It's just like words to exist. So, for instance, here's the two and they're both in Nelly's verse. I think they're very strange. So Nelly has a line that is that your ass or your mama half reindeer?
Had reindeer. Yep.
So originally I thought it was have reindeer, like own, because that made me think, okay, so we think she's related to Santa Claus. I don't know. Santa Claus has a big ass. Sure. But that's not it. It's half reindeer. So that's weird.
Is that ass or your mama half reindeer?
Which, like, not a thing we associate with reindeer. And I think it's just to hit... Well, that one seems like it's to hit the glad you came here rhyme. And he just put came here, and then he went to Rhyming Dictionary or whatever existed in 2002 or 3 and put...
Reindeer.
Okay. And then, I'm going to go through Nelly's verse really quick. Hey girl, what your name is, where you from, turn around, who you came with. Is that your ass or your mama half reindeer? Weird. Can't explain it. And that's where I think he's like, I don't know what I'm just said, but sure. But damn, I'm so glad you came here. Still a sucker for cornrows. You know, I never changed that, which makes sense because it's an old Nelly lyric. Body is banging, mama, but where your brains at? Still the same cat when I was running with bad boys, but now I'm on the hook, so I'm running with bad boy, like Bad Boy Records. Here we go. Here come another man, unlike no other man, candy coated, and then switching every other lane. But in the lyric to that, there's a what? And I don't think he knows what candy coated means in this context. And then, so my favorite line in this, just to like kind of get at why I think this is not a good like rap. It's y'all help me. Why don't you please help me? 8th girl this week, and it's only Tuesday.
Okay.
Like,
so wait, he's like a nymphomaniac, and he's issuing a call for help.
Assuming the week starts on Sunday, which is giving him a lot of like leeway.
Yeah,
that would mean
it's Europe and it starts on Monday.
And it's very possible. But yeah, let's say the week starts on. Let's say it's a work week. Let's say it does start on Monday, and let's say he's recording this song somewhere between 9 and 5. That means he probably knocked out 5 of these 8 girls in Monday. Like, at a certain point, it's no fun anymore, all right? You gotta calm down, Nelly.
It's just work.
Yeah, and I feel bad for him. And this is my other thing, I don't think Nelly's ever had sex. Or at least, I don't think he had until 2003. And then he was just like, kind of, it's like what you would think you would ask a middle schooler. Like, it's like, I'm going to go on vacation. What are you going to do on vacation? I'm going to have sex like 10 times a day. It's just going to be so cool. So many girls are going to be like, have sex with me. And I'm going to be like, wait in line, because this is like a fucking Disney World meet and greet. And I'm just excited. Like no, you know, once or twice, then you're done. Do other stuff. You're a busy guy. You know, it's not worth it, dude. And, but yeah, he doesn't seem like he's having fun. Also, he does that thing that I think is bad in rap where he just names races or places, black, whites, Dominicans, Hispanics, and Asians. Like, it's a really lazy rhyme. But anyway, so bad song. That song plays, I think, like 6 times in the movie.
Oh my God, so many times in the movie.
It's the opening titles, it's the credits, and it is a couple of transitions. And it's also got P. Diddy and Murphy Lee are also both on the song. I think their verses are fun. Where Diddy's isn't anything special, actually, but I enjoyed Murphy Lee's because he's just, I don't know. He mentions a Thundercat and Voltron, and that was like, cool. I remember those things.
Yeah, you get those pop culture references, and it's like, I'm on board.
Yeah, it was a good like, it was fun. And Andy, where was it? He says, where is it? He says he's young like Turk. That was a cute line. There's just a lot of fun stuff here. Great. Oh,
hold on. I'm kind of blown away that
I know
that Nelly is referencing the the clique of army officers that ran the Ottoman Empire towards the end of its reign.
I don't know what else he's going for, though. Is there a rapper named Young Turk that I'm not aware of? Like,
not at the time. I don't even think
so.
Now.
Oh, wait, never mind. There was a street gang, but it was like in the... when
okay.
was this?
I'm going to continue thinking the thing I thought.
I don't know,
Yeah,
though.
no, it's better that way.
It's an Italian-American crime family. But I'm trying to figure... Oh, Rouse the Power in the mid-90s. Okay. I mean,
Nope,
still,
what
where
Diggins
did he
said-
learn about this? They're not important. Nobody knows them. Like, they're not... This isn't a popular thing. At least not for me. But the other one is He's Starving Like Marvin, like from South Park. I remember hearing that and being like, oh, I know what that is. Like, I don't know. There's a certain level of rap, like a certain value to rap. Not like value, but I appreciate a rap that is written really well. Like, obviously, like a, Kendrick Lamar, even Eminem, where just like lyrically it's complicated and the rhymes are fun. But also, I love a rap full of pop culture references that I recognize. Those make me so happy. And they make great rhymes because not all of them know the things. Like, not, they're like Thundercats or Voltron. You've put Voltron rhymes with a lot of stuff. Clothes on. That's a Voltron. But, Jay-Z didn't say Voltron because he's not cool like Murphy Lee. And Murphy Lee, he got some respect for me. Listen, we'll talk about the movie in a second. But I think we have to give this song the amount of attention the movie gives it.
I was going to say, it's such a pivotal part of the movie. We would be inaccurate if we didn't talk about this song in detail.
And I did not see this movie when it came out in theaters, but I heard this song a million times. This was all over the radio. To the point where I think there's probably a lot of people that never saw this movie but recognized this song. Because, I mean, at that point, too, P. Diddy and Nelly were, like, on top of the world. This is probably, a couple of years after Country Grammar? When was Country Grammar? I could be way wrong about that. Oh, no, 2000. Yeah. So this is, like,
you're right
top
there.
of his game, Nelly. Just great stuff. Anyway, let's talk about Bad Boys 2. So,
woohoo!
DJ, you had seen this previously.
Yep.
I also had. Diggins, you had not.
I have never seen it until I watched it for this podcast.
And you fell in love with it immediately.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Oh, boy. Well,
I know we already got at it a little bit, but...
Yeah, it was very difficult for me to watch it and not mainly focus on the wildly sexist and racist and authoritarian parts of the movie, where this movie finds it not just, like, ridiculous, but, like, offensive. The idea that you wouldn't immediately shoot a suspect. And it's so... And also, like, the instant you even begin to talk about your feelings with another man, you're worthy of being publicly ridiculed for being gay. And it just... The whole thing is just constantly on that wavelength. It never stops being that level of macho bullshit. And man, it was hard for me to get past that.
I mean, this movie was made by and for, like, 15-year-olds. Like, it's like 2 minutes into the movie and during the opening credits, and then you just got all these, like, low shots of butts. Like, you're fucking below, just, like, in the sewer grate of a club, and you're like, oh, man, this is fucking cool, man.
The opening scene of this movie felt like Michael Bay just, like, grabbing you by the shirt and being like, are you ready, motherfucker? They let me do whatever I wanted with this movie. Whatever.
Look at all these butts. Yeah. So many butts.
I mean, listen, this is, I would say, this is kind of the I wouldn't say it's a prototypical, or not the precursor, but I do think there's a funny...
Prototypical?
The prototypical, that's right. I think there's a funny push and pull in this series that exists, or in the world that exists between the Bad Boys series and the Fast and Furious series. Because I think, having watched Fast and Furious 1, and then Fast and Furious 2, and I believe they came out in the same year, this and Fast 2.
Sounds about right.
Let me just Google that to make sure. I want to say Too Fast was 2002. 2003, yeah, so same year. Same time. I think this movie was really aggressively sexual in a way that Fast 1 didn't quite feel like it was there. And then I think this movie pushed the Fast series, forced them to up their ante, and just every shot was a shot of a butt. And then I think we'll see later, I think Bad Boys 3 was very heavily influenced by 5, 6, 7 of the Fast franchise. Which we'll talk about. But so I think I just think there's an interesting dynamic, but it's just funny because the Fast franchise took maybe one thing that worked from this, did whatever they wanted, and then there was no more Bad Boys movies for like 20 years. So they just got to completely control the genre. But yeah, no, it's a very, not like sexual, because it's sexual, but it's not, you know? Characters aren't having sex. They're just talking about sex. Like, obviously, there's something going on between Will Smith and Gabrielle Union's character. But, like...
I thought you were going to say Martin Lawrence.
Oh, my God. Oh, you know, those silly old boys talk... There's, you know...
Can't talk about erections and stuff.
What did the woman say in the...
You need Jesus.
You
motherfuckers need Jesus.
Yeah, great line, but maybe not the right time.
Yeah, it's a great line out of context.
It's fun to say. But yeah,
see Jesus.
It's maybe this whole movie you could kind of say is like Nelly, Virgin Nelly from 2002 also took a pass at this script, and he was like, "It'd be weird if we talked. They can't. Like, there's no sex scene in this movie. There's never been a sex scene in any of these movies. Isn't that weird?"
Yes. Honestly, yes.
Might as well. What are we waiting for?
Well, there's briefly in Bad Boys 2 with Will Smith and the psychiatrist or therapist.
Oh, yeah.
That's
not really...
I mean, that's like full clothes on, just, it's not a
sex.
sexy sex scene.
Yeah.
I would say the closest we actually get to a sex scene is Martin Lawrence and the yet-to-be-named blonde woman with big boobs. That's, if you know what I mean...
Do I know what you mean?
Yeah, she'll come up about halfway through the movie.
The one when they're trying
really
to find
cold
evidence.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like that is the single part of the movie that feels like an R-rated movie in not the everyone's shooting each other and exploding movie. Yeah.
It's the only nudity in any of these movies, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
I wonder if it counts. Can you show a naked corpse in a movie and get away with it being PG-13? Probably, right?
I don't think
know.
So.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
not.
It's still.
I mean, listen, it was just as awful as you can imagine. We'll talk about the specifics of it because I know you're probably like it's got to be one of three things, and it is. But yeah, we'll explain. Okay, real quick, DJ or Diggins, because I don't want to do this, but either one of you, can you give our listeners who for some reason maybe didn't listen to one or forgot about it, can you get like a rundown of what one was about and kind of the dynamic that has existed that we're information we need for this? And honestly, there's not a ton, but like where are our bad boys when they start?
Do you want to take it, Diggins, or do you want me to do it?
Sure, I'll do it real quick.
All right.
So in the previous movie, some crime boy had stolen a big score of heroin from the police station.
Crime boy.
Crime boy.
Yeah. Crime boys versus
crime
bad boys. Dawn
what
of
you gonna
boys.
do? Oh,
so our bad police boys, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, needed to get it back, and then it got personal when the crime boy also killed Will Smith's sort of girlfriend.
A hooker he knew.
Yeah, basically. But the hooker he knew's friend was a witness, and so came to them for protection. But also they pretended that Martin Lawrence was Will Smith for a while for no really particularly good reason. But it was one of the central conceits of the movie, so I'm mentioning it now. Anyway, a bunch of stuff happens. They fight the bad guys a few times, and they have a big shootout at the airport at the end of the movie where they kill the bad guy at the end.
Yep.
That's good.
It's so interesting that the main plot of the first Bad Boys is supposed to be protect a witness, because like they forget about legal things entirely in this movie.
I mean,
the law does not matter.
They cared very little for the law in that movie also. They just care even less now.
Yeah.
The idea that you need a witness for anything is just a nonsense.
Yeah, you just summarily execute a criminal on the streets. What do we need the justice system for?
Well, and that's what Diggins said in the first one. I thought was such a good like kind of through line for this movie. Although I do want to change it a little bit. It's because cops might not even completely sell it. It's Michael Bay loves law enforcement but hates enforcing the law.
Yes.
that's like that's going to be really important in 2, not quite as important in 3, although but 2 is really where it goes off the rails.
Oh yeah.
Because of the myriad laws not enforced in 2. Let's see. Where do we start, guys?
In Bad Boys 2?
Yeah.
Well, we have to start with the opening sequence, which is honestly fucking insane.
It's absolutely crazy.
So, I'll take this one if I may. So, it's a real non sequitur. We get a bunch of scenes of just like drugs in a club, and there's drugs in a club, and that's going on. And it's going to establish a lot for what goes on to the movie. And then transition to Nazis, or white supremacists, not necessarily Nazis. I don't want to lump them all together and be so reductive about it.
Yeah, I guess
KKK specifically.
KKK, yes. Thank you, Diggins. So, Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, they go undercover to bust up a KKK meeting, also drugs. I think the Klan members were like shipping drugs or something like that. And that's like why they were there. And they have backup, right? So this is like a first. They actually have a full team ready to take out these fucking KKK guys. But something goes wrong, and the radios don't work, and they're on their own, and it leads to an insane shootout, and just like fucking death and destruction. And it's an insane way to open the movie. There's a slow-mo shot where Will Smith like takes off his KKK Klan robe in slow-mo with like 2 9mm, is like, woohoo! He's like having so much fucking fun, ready to kill these like Klan members. It's fucking nuts.
I'm really curious who made the decision that the guys who should go undercover to bust this Klan raid should be the 2 black cops.
Well, they're like, oh, Black Klansmen, what a good concept.
Yeah, maybe someone should make a movie about that in 14 years.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that too, because we talked about this in Bad Boys 1. Martin Lawrence, Marcus, and Mike Lowry seem to be some sort of super cop, the highest level of cop. And I don't think that distinction is changed between Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2. However, it does still seem like there's no good reason for Martin Lawrence to be in any of these situations.
Yeah, he's not great.
Not necessarily saying Will Smith should get a better partner, but maybe don't bring Martin Lawrence just in general. He only makes things worse every time, except for usually at the very end.
Can I go back real quick for 1 second?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a little worried you were too polite to white supremacists at the beginning there, so I'm just going to say if you're a white supremacist, then fuck you.
Oh,
right,
sure.
Fair enough.
But unless you're a fine actor playing a white supremacist how shocked was everybody to see Michael Shannon in here?
Oh my God, right?
I blew my mind. Because he is the main character from that group that will like continue on in the movie, and like he shows up as like an informant.
I
and when
did
you
not
first see him, he's
recognize
wearing
him
a
at
hat.
first.
He's got a beard. He's much younger. It doesn't look like him enough to be 100% sure, but it does look a lot like him. And it turns out to be him. What a strange place for him to show up.
Yeah, agreed. But like he's good, I guess, as a convincing KKK member. So
Loved
that.
He has the single funniest beat of the movie, or he is part of the single funniest beat of the movie, which we will get to. Yeah, and there's a bit specifically. I think the best part. I don't think you mentioned this. Wait, because you described a bit where Will Smith throws off the Klan hood, right?
Yes,
and he's in front of the cross, the burning cross, and it's almost like I don't know how old he is. But if Zack Snyder was conceived in some sort of Anakin Skywalker fashion, where he was birthed from the Force and the midichlorians, it would have been right at that moment. Because not only is the symbolism insanely like on the nose, but the movie is so proud of it. It is like, and listen, we're a podcast of guys somewhere between the ages of 25 and 32, so we're pretty white. Just generally, but I don't know how other people feel about that. It seems like if it's a very interesting racial statement, I guess, that Michael Bay is making. People that don't know Michael Bay, by the way, I don't think we've been super clear about this. Also very white, not
yeah.
I don't think Michael Bay is making a statement other than I think this looks cool.
I wonder who wrote this. Let's check this out.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Bay has any like ideas of symbolism in this movie because it doesn't show up in a lot of places. So yeah, I feel like what a cool thing. And by the way, he loves two guns. He loves a guy with two guns.
He loves way more than two guns. He loves so many guns.
Fair, but for some reason, like that look, he's all about it. He's all about that two gun look.
So this was written by the writer of White Men Can't Jump.
Oh.
Yes, and a bunch of other stuff. Basically, it seems like mostly Kevin Costner movies. Specifically, he wrote Tin Cup, Bull Durham. What else is in here? So those two, I guess. Hollywood Homicide, Bad Boys 2, some of LA's finest. So that's one. That's Ron Shelton. Jeremy Stahl. Wow, this is a different like set of writers. They're not writing the same stuff, which is probably why this movie is both fun and like silly. And like, you know, dramatic. It takes itself very seriously. You got a guy named Jerry Stahl who wrote episodes of Moonlighting, Alf, obviously Bad Boys 2, some CSI, and 7 episodes of the show Marin.
Huh.
So, yeah, and that's a screenplay team. The story team involves Ron Shelton, someone named Cormac Wimberly, who wrote the like G-Force movie where the gerbils are spies.
Oh my
Charlie's
God.
Angels,
Wow.
I Spy in the Sixth Day. So that's Cormac Wimberly. And then Marianne Wimberly, I'm assuming, is like related to that person or married or something. So wrote all the same movies. And, I missed this, The Shaggy Dog. The one where Tim Allen is a dog.
Oh, that's a bad movie.
Yeah. This is a really weird crew. Were they just all like stuck in an elevator for a couple hours and wrote a Bad Boys movie? Who brought all these together?
You know how when you're the like the new person at a newspaper, your college newspaper or whatever, and everyone who's been there longer gets to pick all the good assignments, and you get stuck with like covering like the faculty clam bake or whatever. I feel like that was
in the parking lot. Yep.
It was just like whatever screenwriters were left at the bottom of the drawer just got thrown onto this project.
Yeah. Could you see this? So I don't want to spoil it, but it is my favorite. Not like don't want to spoil it, but I talk about this movie constantly, especially last week because I watched it again, and I think we probably both talked about it. Have we all here seen the Dolomite movie?
Yes.
I actually haven't yet. I've been meaning to.
Diggins!
It's so
you
great.
Fool.
My favorite movie of the year. It's Joker if it was good. But it is. Same themes.
So it's Taxi Driver?
Well, kind of. Down and out loner tries to use entertainment to create a movement because the rich elites don't understand him. So he makes a character that represents the common man and overthrows the rich and powerful. It's similar. It's good, obviously. It really is one of my favorite movies of the year. And there's a very great clip of Eddie Murphy at I think the 1995 Oscars presenting an award and saying that he hates the Oscars and he'll never win an award. So were it not for that clip, I think he'd definitely be nominated. But anyway, they go through the entire movie kind of assembling the, Expendables or like Suicide Squad of this people that will make this movie. So it's like, oh, okay. And here's where we got our actor. And here's where we got the guy who did the music. And here's where we got the women who did karate. And here's where we got our director. And at one point, they're like, we need someone to write the movie. And they find a character played by Keegan-Michael Key, or as a person in real life, who wrote the Dolomite movies, who, for people who don't know, Dolomite is like the blaxploitation character from the 70s who does karate and fights the man. Black Dynamite is more or less based off him. They get this really serious guy who writes like, very like artsy plays about drug addiction. And Rudy Ray Morse, like, you can be in movies and I'll give you all this power. I want to write cool stuff about, society and stuff. And it kind of seems like this crew of guys, like all of these writers and producers, that's how they got the White Man Can't Jump guy on, because all the rest of them kind of fit together except for him. But I can see it in the writer's room going the same way that it goes in Dolomite, where he's like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have it'll be about drugs and a community. And then Rudy Ray Moore's just like, and karate. We got to do karate, right? And he's like, wait, why? And he's like, I don't know. It'd just be fun. That seems like what this movie was, where they had a real serious writer and then just a bunch of other people that were trying to throw karate and cart chases and boobies everywhere they could.
I can see that. It's like the bad version of it, though, where it's like, we don't just throw it in. It's just major parts of the movie. And it has this other problem where it doesn't know how to end, so it just goes on forever. Like, the movie's not about taking down KKK people. This is just the beginning part of the movie.
Yeah, because
there's a whole movie that follows this.
They're buying some ecstasy off of the drug dealer who is the main villain, because the main drug of this movie, instead of heroin, is ecstasy, which is wild to me, because ecstasy is like a party drug for college kids that you buy off of sketchy pharmacists. It's not like drug kingpin territory.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would be like if in the first Avengers movie they fought Loki, and then in the second Avengers movie they fought like I don't know, MODOK or something. Like it's a real step down in terms of the seriousness of the situation. But because of how insane the drug dealer is, he could be selling Matchbox cars and we'd still have to kill him. Like, he is the worst of guys. But he also might as well be the other guy. He looks and sounds different from the first villain, but they're essentially the same character.
Well, they were worried that first villain, while clearly foreign, was not racist enough. So they decided to fix that for this movie.
Do you mean the right? Oh! I'm sorry. Yeah, well, and this movie at one point has two villains. It's confused.
Yeah, and then the villains. I think at one point, don't the villains go like, "I guess we have to kill each other because there's too many."
Well,
yes.
So there's a Russian club owner, and he's the one who is getting the ecstasy from the one guy and giving it to a lot of people. At some point, the drug dealer's like, hey, you know what, Russian guy? I don't really need you anymore. And then the Russian gets really angry. And then at the end of the movie, I'm going a little out of order, but I don't really care because it doesn't really matter. Just shows up to the guy's house and dies.
Yep.
Because they had to, remind people that character existed.
A complete waste of Peter Stormare.
Yeah. What a another weird, not like cameo, because I wouldn't even say Michael Shannon's necessarily a cameo, because he sticks around. He's got a character. But yeah, another weird little actor, kind of almost like caught in the gravity of this movie and become a part of it.
Do you think that people thought this was going to be huge? Like, oh, they're making a Bad Boys 2. Whoa.
I mean,
I got to get in on this.
I do.
I don't know. The first one was like a modest financial success and a critical failure. So I don't know if there was really that much excitement about it.
But this is 2002 Will Smith. You don't think everybody in Hollywood was tripping over themselves to be in a movie with 2002 Will Smith?
Okay, you've got a point there.
I think that's it. And it's nothing wrong with that. I think, if you want a Will Smith movie, I mean, look at this versus look at the crap he's making now. Look at Gemini Man and try to, I've watched this over Gemini Man 100 times. Because these were the movies Will Smith was making. This, Wild Wild West, movies that weren't very good, but were a lot. Versus these now movies where they're not very good, but they're either too much or not enough, like Winter's Bone or Winter's Tale. Or one... What's the one where he had the angels? What's that one called?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
I can't remember the name either, but it's
Suicide Squad. There's so many bad Will Smith movies, but they're not nearly as fun as this for me.
Later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we will. Yeah, we will. Oh my god, that's what I said. Oh yeah, we will. We will. Okay. Yeah, so we've kind of touched on this. There's a villain in this movie. DJ, do you want to describe the villain?
Johnny Tapia.
Mm-hmm.
So he is an interesting Cuban drug, is he making the ecstasy or just giving it to dealers? He's making it, right?
I believe we go to his house when they go to the mansion to fumigate it. I believe we see some sort of drug making operation.
Maybe not. Either way,
I don't remember now.
But they import the ecstasy from Cuba.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
so I guess he's getting it made in Cuba.
Yes, because at the very end, when everyone's driving something through somethings, those are drug manufacturers.
That's what it is.
Which is why it all explodes.
That's what it is. So he is essentially supplying all of Miami with ecstasy. That's what Johnny Tapia is doing. And this is crazy, guys. So Miami PD won't go after him because he's been arrested something like 12 times, and every time it was wrongful
he
arrest.
Sues for wrongful arrest because if we give people any kind of rights or a redress for wrongs done to them by the police, then that means we can't arrest the criminals. That's why you've just got to shoot them in the head in the street. Street justice. That's what Michael Bay wants.
So yeah, he's supplying ecstasy to all of Miami. He lives in this kind of broken down mansion with his like gangster mom and his like weird daughter. She's not weird. She's just like her placement in the movie's kind of weird. And they all live together. And he is just trying to deal drugs, and the Miami PD won't cross him. But I forget how the bad boys get exactly roped in with Johnny Tapia, like why they decide to go after him.
Because of somebody else already going after Johnny Tapia.
Who is that?
What's her name? Gabrielle Union.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I got it. So
Martin Lawrence's sister.
Yes. So Marcus's sister works for the DEA, and she's going after Johnny Tapia. So the bad boys are like, "Oh, we gotta like get in on this because it would be really bad."
Because I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize this, but Gabrielle Union is a woman, and that means we can't trust her to do her job. We've got to make sure we're protecting her, because obviously, as a woman, she can't do it on her own.
At one point, Martin Lawrence calls her the honeypot. He's like, "You realize you're just the honeypot, right?"
Yeah, it's really like wildly offensive. Like, wow, you only got your job because you're a hot woman. To his own sister.
Yeah, right? Like, that's like the weird fucking part. So yes, they have to go after Johnny Tapia. And there's a lot. There's Jamaicans involved. There's
Are they Jamaicans or Haitians?
They're Haitians.
I'm sorry, Haitians.
Okay.
There's Haitians involved.
Oh boy, the Haitian gang in this movie is one of the most wildly racist things I've ever seen in a movie.
Ooh, that's damn high praise. Wow.
Praise is not the word I would use.
They are super racist in a sense that like, but okay, so they're not. Here's the thing about the Haitians for me. Even differently from all of the other racism in this movie. Like, okay, Haitians versus homophobia, right? That's gonna there's very homophobic stuff that happens later in the movie. I think the homophobia is played specifically for a joke, like how silly it is if two men were gay. I think the Haitians are written by someone who's not completely sure what a Haitian person is or like acts like. So they just throw all the stereotypes together, but not in like a hateful or mean way, just in like a they think this would be cool way. Because I'm sure this portrayal of Haitians would very much confuse a Haitian, like an actual person from Haiti. In a way that in a way that wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, maybe it would probably make them mad, but I think it would just more make them like confused.
Is that us? Are they portraying us?
Yeah, like we all have like voodoo dolls and shit everywhere? Is that where am like almost like where was I when we did all this? I must have been on a cruise ship and missed the day where we all, because this movie is so sure that this is what a house in Haiti, like, yeah, it's terrific. I mean, what does the Haitian person sell in this movie?
What are they selling? The ecstasy, right? Aren't they involved in ecstasy deals?
They're just trying to steal the money. They're not actually involved in the ecstasy trade at all.
Doesn't he go to their store and start breaking things first?
Yeah, his informant who tips him off that the Haitians are going to be trying to steal from Johnny Tapia, and that's how they got involved in the first place. He's like sells a bunch of like weird plastic knickknacks that they just start smashing up, because that's how they get anything they want out of like anyone who's not a police officer in these movies. They just like beat the shit out of them until they say something.
Well, there's 4 levels of witness. Like how do you deal with the witness in the Bad Boys movie? Level 1, friendly. Hey, Johnny Friendo. I know you know where Johnny Tapia is. You want to tell me where Johnny Tapia is? Right? Johnny Friendo says, I don't even know where Johnny Tapia is. Number 2, throw that person, or like take that person, threaten them, and then just break everything they own. Number 3, kill everyone they know. Number 4, kill the person. It usually doesn't help at all. It will advance the plot, but only in a really like kind of what's the word? Like it'll be like
roundabout.
They'll kill
way.
everybody at the house, and then they'll find a matchbook on the floor and be like, "This leads us to this place." But it never actually helps. It's always kind of a coincidence.
Maybe. So maybe I got a theory for you. Michael Bay knows that this is all wrong, so he's purposely making their tactics look silly because it doesn't actually get them anywhere, right? Their strong arming and posturing is futile most times.
Yes, but also,
so what if that's Michael Bay's commentary?
Yeah,
he actually thinks that all of it's bad.
I don't know about that.
Diggins.
I think we have to consider the framing of the camera, which is that these guys are super cool heroes that we love everything they do.
I mean, yeah,
and
probably.
I think Martin Lawrence. So in this movie. And this will change the dynamic a little bit in 3. Martin Lawrence is always wrong, and Will Smith is always right.
Yes.
Which is why I think in this movie, when Will Smith is like, "What are you doing, Marcus? You should shoot them all," and Marcus is like, "I don't want to shoot him. I don't want to shoot him, Will. It's a lot of it's bad, Will."
When Martin Lawrence is like, maybe we shouldn't do like first thing, draw a gun and start firing bullets at these people we want answers from.
Yeah.
And Will Smith is like, that's ridiculous. If you have someone who isn't a cop and you need information from them, the first thing you should do is shoot them in the head.
It really is this movie. Poor Ice Pick. I think that's the name of his informant, the Haitian informant. He treats he kills like a lot of Ice Pick's guys.
Yeah, he would have killed Ice Pick if it was inconvenient for him to not. Like, it's a drop of a hat kind of situation. Forget poor Will Smith. Forget poor Ice Pick. Poor Joe Pantoliano.
Oh, God.
He really wants to solve the crimes, but Will Smith does it in the absolute worst way. Like, it's almost like Will Smith is trying to make him do paperwork.
Well, I mean...
Go ahead, Diggins. Marcus does like point it out when they're done with the shootout with the Haitians, and they can't get any info from the one guy. He's like, "Oh, look, everyone else is dead. We can't ask them questions, idiot."
Oh, yeah.
But like, the movie still doesn't think Will Smith is wrong, really.
Right.
Because they find their way to get to the ultimate solution, which is we have to, well, I don't know if I want to go full to the end of the movie yet, but here's a little teaser. The end of this movie is not, oh, good, we got the drug deal, we found all the drugs and ruined the drug deal in Miami. There's a whole nother part to the end of this movie, which is fucking crazy.
Which I have a name for, which we'll get to.
Have either of you guys seen True Lies?
No.
I have not.
What the fuck? All right, so True Lies is this
wow,
absolutely terrific. I feel like we've talked about this on the podcast before, DJ, because it's one of my favorite movies.
That I knew.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's Jamie Lee Curtis, and Christina Ricci, and Tom Arnold. So it's like an all-star cast. Back in 1994, 1995, in the James Cameron heyday, right around the Terminator movies, where the joke is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is like a super spy, but his family doesn't know he does it. So he's like got to hide it from them, and then he's got problems at home with his wife because he's neglecting her. And that ends with her and him kind of being thrown into the spy world, him on purpose and her kind of by accident. And there's a point where he gets truth serum near the end of the movie, and they're sitting together. And this is a comedy. Like, True Lies knows how dumb most of this is, and more or less, Jamie Curtis is right. Arnold is right sometimes, but this movie is about Jamie Lee Curtis making Arnold feel dumb or wrong. So, and she's his wife, and she has no idea he's a spy. It's terrific. But at one point, there's a conversation they have where he's on truth serum, where Jamie Lee Curtis is like going through like, okay, so did you do this? Did you do that? And she asks, did you kill anybody? And Arnold Schwarzenegger, as in a really, really funny joke, says, yeah, but they were all bad. And I think Michael Bay didn't get that joke and was like, that's how you make movies. As long as they're all bad, you can kill anybody you want. Like, because it really is. There's a bit where a mass murder takes place. But almost like in an ADR line, someone has to say, everyone we're about to kill, it's fine because they're bad. And then they do it. And I tried to explain, I was watching with someone, she'd never seen it before. And I was trying to explain to her, like, don't worry, something insane is going to happen. And it more or less is a war crime. And then I forgot that there is this ADR line, which really is like, it's okay to do this because of this. Everybody in the movie but Will Smith, Joe Pantoliano, and Martin Lawrence relatives are bad. Oh, that's not true at all, because the army is good, which we'll get to.
They're so good.
Other cops also good.
You want to fucking do it, they'll do it because they're good.
They will. Oh my god, they're so good.
The plot, okay. So did we?
I mean, that's it. They got to get the ecstasy.
Well, did we talk about what Gabrielle Union does, kind of how she gets like?
Oh right, so
her whole
she's
thing. That's important, I guess.
Yeah, she's a DEA agent, but she's undercover, acting as like the money person between originally the Russian mobster who is also supplying ecstasy, and Johnny Tapia, who's the guy getting the ecstasy from Cuba. After the Russian guy, there's like a whole thing where Johnny Tapia just chops the Russian guy's associate in a bucket and shows him. And the Russian guy's a funny line, I see this in my country every day. You don't think this is a problem? No, I see this every day.
And racial stereotypes aren't bad when they're so funny and like almost like endearing. And that's one of them. That's like, you can really mess around with a Russian guy in a movie. And it's so that line. I love that line. I don't know why that really hit me.
Well, and it's weird too, right? Because it's so that doesn't work. So then Johnny Tapia is like, all right, I know where your kids go to school. I'll kill him. And it's like, oh shit, it got real. As if that shit didn't also happen in Russia all the time. I'm sure that's another daily issue. But anyway.
Also, I question the legal enforceability of him signing over all of his clubs under such duress.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like in the Batman movie when Bane hacks the what does he hack? Like the stock market, and then Bruce Wayne is poor the next day. It's like, there's no insurance on that? Nobody checks?
So then, Gabrielle Union just works for Johnny Tapia now. Not clear what she does, but she's undercover and works for him. And
she's a money launderer, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. She turns the big bills into small bills. But what's so silly is that her whole thing is like, I just gotta do this for a little longer, and then the DEA can move in and take Johnny Tapia. When it feels like she already has plenty to go off of.
Yeah.
Like, she shouldn't need to wait.
And the one thing she's gonna fuck up is the arrest, which is the part that they can never seem to get right.
They never get it right.
It's like she's entrapping him, kind of. He'll get off, for sure.
I mean, the key here is that she's doing something that, at least in some sense, resembles real police work.
Sure.
And so we have to make sure that we know that it's ineffective and bad instead of just shooting people.
Yeah.
Right. It's better if we shoot people.
And do you think, how does the movie feel? Because I have a hard time with this one. Seeing it a second time, it kind of, because so she's like, she's a DA agent, undercover. She's like supposed to be very sexy. Because to this like drug deal, she wears this like white suit that's like open, because it's Miami, and you forget that. Except for every 10 seconds, the movie like someone passes the sign for Miami or something. So
there's a wide shot, which like it's not like the Miami skyline's the most famous skyline in the world.
And it's
but they did find a big sign that says Miami to show off, though.
Yeah, have a plane fly over it every couple of minutes. But yes, so she's wearing like a suit and pants. Like a pantsuit, but no shirt, I believe, with maybe a bra or something. But I can't decide. Obviously, the movie thinks she's helpless because she is a woman. But does the movie think she's good at her job? Does the movie think
not
she's
at all.
competent? I kind of think it does, because it does that thing where she counts the money. And she's like, you're missing $1,000. And she's like cool and tough, just like all the guys. It's not that she's like smart. It's that she's almost might as well be a dude, you know? She hangs with the boys.
I think the movie thinks she's good at her job. She just needs to realize that, laws are stupid.
Oh, I see. She's good at her job, but the job she's fundamentally doing is poor.
Well, no. Cops are good, DJ. So her job is good and valuable. It's just that she needs to be allowed to break any law she wants instead of following them. Because, at one point they're talking about something they did, I think, busting the Haitians, and she's like, you got a warrant for that? No, it was for bugging Johnny Tapia's mansion.
Yes.
She's like, you got a warrant for those wiretaps? And Will Smith is like, laws. You got a lot to learn about law enforcement.
Yeah. And why, do you guys remember? So, and then we have to talk about the main, so there's, as with all great cinema, there is an internal and an external conflict. External conflict we've already gotten, that's Johnny Tapia. Diggins, can you explain what the internal conflict of this movie is? What is going to tear Mike Lowry and Martin Lawrence's guy apart?
Marcus Burnett. I would love to. Well, as we explained, Gabrielle Union's character, whose name I entirely forget.
Lady.
Sid. Sid.
Sid is Marcus Burnett's sister. And it turns out that shortly before the movie started, Will Smith, or Mike Lowry, was in New York for some job or other.
He was like dropping off a witness, thing that a Miami cop has to do.
But not to her, right? Or to her?
No.
He was just doing that. And then they ran into each other, and they had a good time. And now, I guess they're dating, even though they haven't seen each other since then?
They're dating. They say they're dating. They're dating.
Yes.
I don't know if they're dating. I think they've hung out 5 times. I think is something specific like that.
They went on 5 dates or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that
like
dating.
All right.
But anyway.
Well, I don't know. I guess that's relative. But
Mike has not told Marcus yet, and he still hasn't told him. And so it's kind of a little secret thing that Marcus doesn't know, that they're some euphemism for having sex that I just don't have the energy to think of right now.
How about boinking? You want to throw boinking out there?
I don't know. I couldn't think of one that I liked. It was really more accurate. Boinking, I wanted something a little more esoteric.
A little more unique.
Bumpin' Uglies.
No, Bumpin' Uglies is still too normal.
The beast with 2 backs.
No. Hold on. I'm going to think of one. They are...
Spelunking.
No, it's going to be specific to this.
I don't hate spelunking.
Were they actually, though, while Nando thinks of that? Because I don't know if that was made clear.
I don't think that they did in... Well, Mike claims they didn't have sex in New York. I don't know how true that is.
They absolutely did.
I mean, yeah.
Did what, Nando? Did what?
They...
I tried to, like, cue it up for you. It's like, they...
They chitty chitty bang banged. How about that? That's a line that happens later in this movie. This is what they did. They got real.
That's real.
Good. That's what you do
good.
in these movies. And sometimes, if it's a man and a woman, it's sex. If it's a man and a man, it's shooting things.
That's how it goes.
They got real. I like
that's
that.
How it be.
Good job, Nando.
Thank you. But yeah, so I don't think they like. It doesn't seem like you're right. I think at one point he says nothing happened. But we're going to learn later.
When Marcus finds out, he's like, "Oh no, it's cool. I mean, we went on dates, but like, I haven't fucked your sister yet."
But like,
I guess given his track record, it's unlikely that they didn't fuck.
Yeah, we saw his therapy session where he had sex with his therapist, like, which is the main rule, I would assume, of therapy is don't do that. Next to don't kill your patient. So that's weird.
This movie doesn't understand what therapy is in the first place, though.
It really doesn't.
Yeah,
it's just saying a phrase. They all go to different therapists. Was this a thing in the 2000s?
They all know Whoooooaah.
I think it's literally just like what a person who's never been to a therapist thinking, like, what is therapy? I guess it's this, because obviously it's dumb bullshit that real men would never do.
Yeah, a man would never go to therapy. It's weird as fuck.
A man would never speak about his feelings openly with another human being.
Yeah, especially not a woman, but also not a man.
Especially not a woman, but especially not a man.
Well, because the woman, if you're not having sex with her like Will Smith is, she's going to be a nag. She just nags at Martin Lawrence. All he wants to do is not be there, and she's giving him all this business.
All he wants her to do is not do her job, and she's being such a jerk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because of how... So you got 3 characters in therapy. This is very important. Martin Lawrence is doing therapy bad. Like, he's not doing it very well. Will Smith is winning therapy because he is a hot therapist that he's having sex with. And Joe Pants, the police chief, is so into therapy, it's annoying. Like, it has become his whole thing. And it's cute because it's kind of like in the 3rd Spider-Man movie. And I didn't realize how much he's just J. Jonah Jameson, right? Like, he's like a police. They're rolled together with the police chief, but that's kind of his, like, deal.
Yeah.
But there's no Spider-Man he wants pictures of.
Right. He wants not murders. He wants Will Smith to not kill people. And every time he comes into the office, he's like, Will Smith's killing people. I want not Will Smith to kill people. And then, yeah.
He has 2 good ones. He's like, the the brass is so far up my ass I could like play a trumpet or something like
Yep.
that. And then
he's been practicing.
The whoever is so far up my ass, whenever they spit, it comes out my mouth. I
don't like that one quite as much.
Yeah, the brass one's better.
The brass one's great.
Yeah,
because I really like him in these movies. He might be my favorite.
Oh yeah,
part.
He's great.
He's part of the best scene for sure.
Well, that's a lead-in. If I've ever heard one.
All right, go for it.
But this isn't it. So
well, never mind then.
Whoopsie-doo.
Well, okay. So let's talk about let's move a little further in. Let's talk about the first big action scene, because we talked about Gabrielle Union. By the way, do you guys remember what Gabrielle Union what her I don't even remember what it is, but do you remember how she gets to crime as a fake criminal?
I don't. How
she
does
has
she
that
get to
van,
crime?
right?
It's not quite a van. It is a beer delivery truck for a very specific kind of beer. And like every Michael Bay car in this movie, it lovingly lingers on the beer logo for a second. Clearly, it didn't do a great job of promoting its beer, but the product placement in this movie is heavy, and it's mostly cars.
I mean, that makes sense.
Like,
they
to an
love
extent.
cars.
To an extent, right? Usually Will Smith will have a car, and he'll be excited about driving that car. But in this, it's like every car is something. And that one scene that we keep kind of dancing around, the fun car chase, I would say Michael Bay hits a level of self-parody that he will only hit again in Transformers 4 when Stanley Tucci makes the Transformium into a Beats pill.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, it's so funny how cool this movie is with doing that. When I imagine Bad Boys 1 didn't have a ton. Armageddon probably didn't have very much product placement since they're in space. So I don't know if the studios were like, by the way, Michael Bay, just, put products in. Or if he has always wanted to do this and he's never had a good enough reason.
Need that SpawnCon.
There's so much. So yeah, big car chase. The deal goes poorly. And then the bad boys get involved and they start investigating.
Yep.
Quote unquote.
Yes.
They start shooting people till they get answers.
Yeah, and that's where the Haitians come in, I guess. That's like...
Yes.
Yeah, because the Haitians are the ones that they're chasing after, because they're the ones who are trying to get to the money Gabrielle Union was supposed to hand off to Johnny Tapia's guy.
Yeah.
So that's who they end up like going over a bridge. They steal one of those big trucks that you load cars onto and are like throwing cars at Will
Love
Smith.
it.
It's kind of cool, if we're being honest. It's kind of cool.
Well, a similar thing happens in... Have you ever seen The Island?
No.
Another Michael
no.
Bay movie where, like, what if Ewan McGregor and ScarJo were clones and they escaped from the cloning facility and it turned out they were in present day? There's a scene where they're driving a flatbed truck full of, like, I guess, like, train wheels from the future or something, and they toss those at the bad guys, and it's very similar. And Michael Bay also does something very similar in Transformers 3, where Transformers are, like, flying into cars, and I'm pretty sure they recycled the shot from The Island. So maybe this is a staple of Michael Bay action movies from here on out.
Yeah, it's, he has a lot of staples. Military hardware, shots of asses, racism.
Merry-go-rounds.
Just
Yeah.
your regular Michael Bay calling cards.
Well, I mean, the merry-go-round in the Haitian shot is amazing. The camera goes in CGI, I would assume, but also there must have been real set somewhere on a merry-go-round through all of the small bullet holes, so you can see our good guys on one side of the wall, and then the Haitian guys on the other side of the wall, and then the good guys on one side of the wall, and the Haitian guy on the other side of the wall. Like, that shot is so much fun. Do you guys also love it?
I
It's
don't know if love.
It's neat. It's cool.
so extra.
It's wildly over the top.
Yeah. I love Michael Bay, when he doesn't know how to shoot something, decides to take a 360 like shot of it as if he's trying to 3D print it later, because that's what he does whenever the bad guy or the bad boys stand up and talk about how shit's gotten real, and like it's a very cool way for Michael Bay to shoot something, which I respect.
I found it honestly a little dizzying. I get that he was trying to make that scene intense, but I didn't love that.
Oh my god!
So I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just too basic. I don't know.
It's super flashy in a way that doesn't necessarily serve the needs of the actual action, but it's, you know, it's a cool gimmick to show once.
Yeah.
So
okay.
after
the Jamaicans, or the Haitians, sorry.
Yeah, after the Haitians, and this is where this movie starts to blend together. We have to get to a point to where so Taffy is hiding the drugs, right?
The
money. Sorry, he's hiding the money.
And drugs, both of them.
Right. So money he's putting into caskets and throwing in the ocean.
Yes.
So that's cool. And then the drugs he's hiding in dead people.
Yes. I don't think we learn that until our main characters go to Johnny Tapia's house.
Right, because that's when they bug him.
And that's a really funny scene.
Okay, so, so...
When they go to bug his house and we see two rats fuck.
Fucking, we see two rats fuck. And how can we forget that Michael Bay staple?
Yes, things that aren't supposed to fuck are fucking, yeah.
Nando, would you like to talk about this sequence when they
Robots,
bug Tapia's
rats.
house?
Well, okay, yeah, so they're like... this is... some of the things they do in this movie are rather clever. This one, the rats, and there's a thing they do with an iguana later. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
How do they? I forget. How do they get the rats in the house?
Well, the rats are already there. That was a happy coincidence.
Right. Yes, that's right. So, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith need to. Oh my God! And I forgot my new favorite character in these movies. Whatever they call him, Mr. Computer or something. The friend from work who does computers. And doesn't want to be part of computers, but darn it, we need you, computers. What the
the guy was the prisoner from the first movie,
He was the prisoner in
right?
the last movie,
and now he works for the cops.
And he has big giant glasses, and he can computers, and they don't want him to, or he doesn't want to. But this is part of we were talking about how much they break the law. This guy doesn't want them to break the law.
If you could get him courtside tickets to the Heat's game, he's in.
Fletcher.
And these are the 2002 Heat. So, right.
They're not even the good Heat. These are the bad Heat.
You could get those tickets pretty cheap. $100, $200, maybe. But he's still going for it. But yeah, so Fletcher, he's going to bug the house, and they need to put the bug into the house. Can't get a warrant because that would be dumb. So instead what they do is they, like an episode of, SpongeBob SquarePants, dress up like exterminators. And they're like, we're here to do exterminating. And then they get there, and... It's funny. It's like they needed to do the exterminating a minute after they came up with the idea to do the exterminating. So they didn't have any time to Google what an exterminator does, exterminating terms, what you might want to exterminate.
It's even more ridiculous than that, honestly, because they go through a whole crash course of learning how you exterminate cockroaches and insect pests, and then they get there and whoops, it turns out they have to exterminate rats. But they knew that they needed exterminators to show up at the house because they tapped his phone.
Yep.
And they listened to the call he made to the exterminator. So presumably they said on that call, we have rats.
Yep.
And they go bribe the actual exterminator so they can go to the house.
Yeah, so they're not good at anything they do, and they're not even really good at shooting. It's funny. If you watch Rush Hour, right? Another great buddy cop movie from about the same time. I'm going to say Rush Hour 1 comes out in the late 90s, and Rush Hour 2 comes out in 2004, maybe 2005. The movie does a good job of being okay, this is Jackie Chan. His character's name, I think, is Yen. He can do whatever he wants. He's Karate Man. He can climb up a building and anything like that. He's also very serious. And here's Chris Tucker, and he can talk his way into and out of any situation. And they get in trouble because they don't work well together. In these situations, both Martin Lawrence and Will Smith is the Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker of things. It's like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are conjoined twins. And Will Smith has to deal with Martin Lawrence being wherever they both are. Because I want to say Will Smith gets him through this one, too. Martin Lawrence is kind of ready to throw up when he sees the rats.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't want to. It's I just don't get it. Martin Lawrence is good in this. I love him, and I'm going to like him even more in this next one. But he brings nothing to the table. The movie doesn't establish any skills that he can use that justify him being part of the team besides just he is Will Smith's best friend. And even in this movie, they're not because they're mad.
I mean, honestly, in these movies, there's very little showing of a positive relationship between the two of them. It's mostly just arguing and being mad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good point.
Martin Lawrence is there because if he wasn't there doing his humor and calming Mike Lowry down, then Will Smith would literally shoot every criminal in Miami.
But that would solve all the problems.
Well, yes, but the bad police brass who don't understand what the average Joe cop needs thinks it's bad to shoot criminals. So they are the ones who put them together.
It's interesting that Martin Lawrence's character doesn't have more slapstick involved.
Right.
Because you'd think that would be like what his main function would be. Like given the formula of this movie. That he'd be falling down a lot, and you'd be like, oh, Martin Lawrence is so funny.
Yeah, or he would be like I think 3, honestly, out of all these movies, might get Martin Lawrence's character the most right, where the clash in dynamic between Martin Lawrence's character and Will Smith's character does lead to, like, interesting scenes, and they learn something from one another, which Will Smith has nothing to learn through any of these movies. Like, if you wanted to make the dynamic make a little bit more sense, have Will Smith and Gabrielle Union, like, be fucking, right? Like, Martin Lawrence, because Will Smith is such a great guy, Martin Lawrence has to kind of be unrealistically mad at him. Not, like, unrealistically, but it's kind of annoying. You're like, all right, Martin Lawrence, relax. He's your best friend. What do you want from this man?
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It's great. Also, we didn't talk about this yet. He got shot in the butt. This is important,
oh,
right?
yeah. I totally... Because that is a theme.
Yep. He got shot in the butt. He has to have butt stuff happen. Very important. He has one of those little donuts. It's pretty funny.
And it's during the KKK thing. It's in the beginning of the movie. And he can no longer get erections. So...
Because of some nerve damage.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, because he was going to get so many erections before. Like, this is...
a bummer.
Switch it. Get Will Smith the erection thing. That's fun. Like, Mike Lowry, hot, sexy guy, can no longer do the thing we know him for. Martin Lawrence, his wife wouldn't let him have sex with her anyway. It doesn't matter.
A through line for all 3 movies.
Like, no matter what happens, Martin Lawrence is having no sex. So it's not like you need to come up with a reason why, like, Rockstar Sexual Dynasty, Martin Lawrence's guy, is frustrated because he can't have sex with his wife because she hates him. And, oh my God, the way these characters dress in the real world. Remember the scene where they're at the pool, the exploding pool, and Martin Lawrence's wife is wearing a swimsuit? Like, it's an incredibly, like, it's so extra. Everything they do is like they're all in commercials for stuff. And I always wonder, are there real people out there that dress like this? Maybe there are, but I don't know any of them.
Maybe. I would know if there are people who actually dress like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm curious why Marcus's family decides they need a pool when they live literally like their backyard, their regular sized backyard, not even a huge backyard, is right up against the ocean.
Yeah, and a pool will explode, and their little things will fall. Their little, like, rafts will fall right onto the pool, and they're like, "Oh, right." Like, it's like, so they didn't even think about it. All right, so what else we got? There's got to be more stuff to this movie besides. Are we at the part with the bodies?
I think we're almost there. Bugs tap Taffy's house, so now they got monitoring him, and they get some kind of message, but they figure out that because somehow it's connected to the morgue, that there's like big security in the morgue, that they're hiding stuff in dead bodies.
Yeah. Don't they see a coffin at some point or something like that?
I think so.
I think at one point a coffin is revealed to have money or drugs in it, and that's like jackpot. But that might be later.
Yeah, but at some point.
But yeah, then they have to go to the morgue. Is that before or after the car ride with the bodies? That's after.
I think it's right. I thought it was.
Oh no, because then we get Michael Shannon back in the game.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Man, this movie's a fucking roller coaster.
So
yeah, because all of the Haitians are dead, it's like, oh, we have no witnesses.
Yeah.
But wait, we do. And they get Michael Shannon because the KKK guys were buying ecstasy. So they force him to tell them where like the drugs are coming in because he knows.
Yes. And it's really funny because that stakeout that they do is the first stakeout where the relationship is like brought up, which is funny because Gabrielle Union. Okay, so we got Gabrielle Union, DEA agent, not just normal person off the street, like actual cop as well. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Will Smith is understands that talking about this relationship they have now is only going to make things worse. Gabrielle Union wants to make things worse. Like, she keeps trying to blow up Will Smith's spot with their relationship and does it at the worst time. And look what happens. Like, it's weird. It's weird how much she wants to make them a thing after 5 dates. Right.
Maybe she's really into him.
Hey, listen,
Sure.
if you felt like you could lock down Will Smith, I mean, I think you'd do it.
I mean, she's barely
True.
locked him down. He's still fucking his therapist.
Well, that was immediately after the first movie, I'm pretty sure. So
very true.
That was before they got together.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And it's fun. The funny part of this scene, I think, for me, is because Michael Shannon is there, just like trying to stay out of it. Like, he realizes how awkward this situation is. I really do like him in this movie. But that is where they find that's how the bodies become part of it, I believe.
Yeah,
No,
because they're it's a morgue van is what they find making the rendezvous with the boat. So they chase after the morgue van, and then it's just full of empty dead bodies, and they're like, and Chief Joey Pants is like, "What the fuck are you idiots doing? These are just a bunch of corpses." Ah.
So now we have an outstanding car chase where our heroes, in an attempt to try and find the source of the Johnny Tappy's money slash drugs, are chasing a van containing basically cadavers. And during the chase, basically at some point, the bad guys are throwing dead bodies at them. Why are the bad guys throwing dead bodies at them if there's nothing in the dead bodies?
Oh, the bad guys aren't throwing them. It's just during the chase, the back doors like jolt open and the bodies start falling out.
That's right.
I see. The bodies hit the floor, if you will.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it's gross. It's fucking gross.
Well,
there's just like butts everywhere. Like full butts just everywhere.
have we talked about the chase itself, why, or not why it starts, but I guess... So wait a second, DJ. I believe this is this scene. They have to chase a car, right? They have to chase a van.
Oh,
but they don't have a car.
That's right. Oh,
what are they going to do?
Okay, so...
But they
well,
also have Michael Shannon, let's not forget.
Yes, so this is very complicated. So they see like one car option and it's like very bad, and then I think like Marcus tries to take like a Toyota Camry, and Will Smith's like no. So they get to another car, and who steps out the car but Dan Marino, the great Dolphins quarterback, recently retired when this movie came out.
That's right.
So the great Dan Marino steps out. And he's like, let me know how it drives. Oh, first he says, we need this car, sir. And Dan Marino goes, anything for you, officer.
And the
because,
car
you know,
is like
football players also good American heroes, and therefore, of course, they would do the most important thing, which is respect the cops.
I mean, I love that cameo. One of my favorite cameos in the history of, like, you know, not blink and you miss it, but like little, not a part of the movie. I think it's so funny that it's Dan Marino's car.
It's great. Well, and because it's like the only at the time real famous, like Miami sports guy, right? Like if they did a
pretty much
Bad Boys Forever cameo, it would have been like Dwayne Wade,
right? Or any of the baseball players. Yeah, they have like there's a staple of Miami talented athletes, but there weren't really in the 2000s.
I have to say I did laugh when during that car chase, Will Smith is like, "This is a nice car. Dan Marino should buy this car." Like,
that's a line.
That's a nice car. Dan Marino should buy this car, not this one. I'm gonna fuck this one up, but a similar car. And so this is the instance I was talking about of just pure fucking black tar top shelf product placement, because this is the Cadillac whatever that came out in 2003. And it's a very specific Cadillac. It's where they started looking really angular and boxy. And this car becomes like it, not just like the same way that Gotham City becomes a character in the Batman movies. We look at this car so many times that it might as well be like the fourth lead in this movie, right behind Gabrielle Union. It is so important, and it's so obnoxious as the chase goes on. But that's what's fun about it. That's why it's Michael Bay at top Michael Bay.
And the bad guy goes in the trunk. Let's not forget.
Yes. Well, let's not, because where are we to? Man.
Let's not forget, because they do.
That would be embarrassing.
They do forget.
It's so funny. That's my favorite comedy beat. Crash. The whole thing ends. Crazy, insane destruction, and then the chief is about to have their asses, and then look who it is. Oh my God, we still have a guy in the trunk.
Who's that? Who is that? Oh, Joey Pants.
It's so funny. Okay, so then they go to the morgue.
Yes. They go to the morgue, and what point do they get the video camera? Because I think that's part of this too.
I'm trying to remember. Is it in the apartment? Or is it in the
the video camera
house?
is from the Haitians.
Oh, right, because they shoot it or something, right? Or it's not. It needs to be fixed.
Mike shoots the viewfinder, so they need to take it to a store to actually view the tape.
2002
right. And that's where
technology.
You need Jesus moment happens.
Yeah.
Because they just go to a random electronics store and are like, "Can you play this?" And the guy's like, "Sure," and just plays this random video the cops handed him on every TV in the store.
Diggins, you were way too kind to that store clerk. He says, "Hey, yo, guys, it's me. I'm cool, just like you." I'm pretty sure he pitches them his rap album or something.
He does.
He
like,
does.
"Yo,
he 100% does."
My friends, I listen to rap all the time. You guys could chill with us sometime.
He's never had black people in his store before.
Never.
It blows his mind.
Even though that woman's like,
yes!
"Hey."
Well, he probably did that to her,
Jesus.
too, and she was just like, "Oh, my God, this fucking guy. I'm just going to just shop, and hopefully nothing else worse will happen to me today."
Like having to see a gay person.
So...
that took me a second. It took my brain a second to enjoy that and then say it.
Yeah, that wasn't like a sync delay, listeners. That was real time. How long that took?
Yeah, that was great.
So we get the dead body car chase, and right then it's almost like it's over, right? Because we have no leads. The captain's gonna have our ass. And then how did they actually get to the point where they're taking down Johnny Tapia?
Oh, because they.
Well, they notice the bodies are empty.
Yeah.
Like there's no organs in them. And
so right.
I think one of them, probably Mike, because he does everything, realize that means there must be something up with the bodies, so they decide to infiltrate the mortuary.
Well, do you guys remember, is this scene a play on the very, 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 very similar scene from Men in Black 1? Remember this?
Which one?
So the whatever his name is, the little aliens that have heads
in the mortuary.
Yeah, they go to the mortuary, and Will Smith, the now hot young buck who doesn't know anything,
Linda,
right. whatever, or Agent L, puts his hand in a body, and she's like, "Feel around. What do you feel?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's weird." And she's like, "There's no organs in there." And he's like, "Oh, that is weird. Is that because of this, or is this because of that?" Because I saw it the second time. Not the second time. I've seen this movie a million times, but specifically this time, I was like, "Holy shit, this is that again!" But now he knows because he's done. Is Mike Lowry also part of the Men in Black? Have we tried to merge those universes before?
Oh, but before he was a Man in Black, he was in the NYPD, not the Miami
That's right.
PD.
Maybe he transferred.
Yeah.
And then transferred
Maybe
back.
that was the 6 days that he was hanging out with Sid.
Oh, in New York.
The New York mission, for sure.
All right, we figured it out.
I think this is right. Trying to think if there's any crossover actors. I don't think there are. Okay, so they go to Johnny Tapia's house. They raid his house. Johnny Tapia's gone. Oh, wait, we forgot the best part. When Martin Lawrence accidentally takes the ecstasy. That's great.
That's in the mortuary.
That's right.
That's when they sneak into the mortuary.
Yeah.
That's right. And he takes the ecstasy, and then they go to Joey Pants' house. And it's this weird, at first they're trying to hide it, but then he tells hey, Captain, he took ecstasy. And then it's all serious. It's we got to keep him from burning up so he doesn't die.
But
it's real serious all of a
But
sudden.
what wonderful thing happens to Martin Lawrence on ecstasy?
He gets his erection.
Yay! Now he can go fuck his wife that hates him.
So, kids, if you ever have erectile dysfunction, be sure to take ecstasy.
Yep. Go over to your boss's house. Make that even worse.
Wear his silk robe.
So then they do the raid, and it's a raid. Whatever. Everyone's on board. The bad boys get to be right. But oh no, Johnny Tapia escaped with Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, I forget how did he get her. He just goes and gets her.
So
she's there.
Because
they're raiding
doing
his
her
mansion.
DEA shit.
And then one of his guys comes up and shows her the picture. It shows him like a picture somebody took of her talking to Mike and Marcus after the car chase.
Right.
And so they realize that she's working with the cops.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she's now a hostage. So Johnny Tapia gets away and flees to Cuba. And then this turns into my favorite movie of all time. Yeah. Like, the next part of this movie was like the movie that was made for DJ Chapman. Low exposition, military bullshit, snatch and grab. Everyone comes together. I fucking love the last 20 minutes of this movie.
It's a little operation I like to call Bay of Pigs 2, The Runback.
Michael Bay of Pigs.
Michael, that's what the Michael Bay of Pigs.
They kidnap the sister slash girlfriend or whatever. Everybody goes into a room. The chief, Mike Lowry. God, I already forgot his name. Martin Lawrence's guy. Marcus Burnett, right? All the other ones. And Marcus Burnett is pissed because they kidnapped his sister. And the chief is like, I don't know what to tell you, man. We're going to do stuff, but there's not much else we can do.
So Johnny Tapia goes, you have like, whatever, 48 or 72 hours to give me $1 billion or else she dies.
Oh, yeah,
and then there's the classic, we don't negotiate with terrorists or whatever. And then like, the guy's like, I got my Department of State Department back channels. And of course, Marcus is like, you're going to use your back channel. You're going to use your political back channels while my sister's going to die. It's like, all right, buddy. So then Mike Lowry, I'm laughing because it's so stupid. Mike Lowry's like, we'll just go to Cuba and get her. We'll just do it. Right. And then, like some of the other cops come in, the DEA agents come in. They're like, she's one of ours. We're going to get her. Ex-Delta guys. We're crazy, you know?
The DEA guys walk through a hallway in slow motion. Like, fucking
keep in mind,
armed to the teeth, like with their flak jackets on. Like they're going to go join, like they're going to blast off into space and help Master Chief kill the members of the Covenant. Sorry, Diggins, to interrupt.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Diggins?
That thought in my head. It's so much.
We also have never met these guys before, so it's just a random scene of dudes we never met walking slowly down a hallway.
Yeah, that's true. And they're so, oh my God, they're so honorable.
Hell yeah, they are.
Because, as we're kind of describing, now they're going to break international law. They've broken all the laws of the land. They've broken every human law. Domestic, and now they're gonna take their talents to South Beach and break the real laws.
It's like it's a team effort though, right? So we have our ex Delta Force guys, the two cops from this movie, and it happens in this movie too. We didn't really talk about it. Who rib them like they're rivals, like they're all in on it.
And of course,
ones from last movie, right?
No, no, it's the same guys, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's the same guys. But also they're Cuban, and one of them just happens to have like a cousin who works in the Cuban resistance.
Yep.
And then the captain comes in. He's like, "Oh, we got some gifts for you," and it's like all this fucking heavy artillery because
police literally the CIA decides to bankroll them. It's actually just the Bay of Pigs again.
Like what do they tell any of them? Like, what did they tell the CIA? Hey, CIA, you know that guy you want us to kill? Someone really wants to kill him, and he's ready to risk it all. So I guess that means we're gonna put ourselves. Like, what would they do? Would Johnny Tapia catch Marcus like mission fails and go, I guess it was just him. I guess this didn't have anything to do with anybody else. Of course, they'd be like, I guess he got his rocket launcher from the CIA. Because he doesn't have that, because he's just a family man. He can't even keep a pool together. But
you say this like it's not a thing the CIA has done in real life.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, and that's why there's no Johnny Tapias out there. They're keeping us safe. But it's weird that the CIA was waiting for some guy who isn't any good at this' sister to be kidnapped. That was the last straw for them. I think it's crazy that the chief doesn't just go like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'll just leave the room. Like he's 100% in on it. That's insane to me.
Oh, God. But like everyone anywhere who's ever existed is in on it. Like the team coalesces so fast, and that's why I think I love the last part of this movie, because it's so nonsense, but the movie is just pushing you through, because we're already at like hour 2. This movie's 2.5 hours, and it could have ended like it could have been they raided the mansion, it's a long raid scene, but they get a movie over. No, we have to invade Cuba as part of our shit now.
Yeah. And so the fun part about the Cuba raid is we are in a place we've never been. Like, this is Johnny Tapia's mansion in Cuba, where he's like painting the Last Supper, but like from a different angle, right? Like, he gets mad about that. I'm like, why wouldn't you just get the normal one? Like,
yeah, it's like instead of like the typical Last Supper where all Jesus and the apostles are all like at the long end of the table together with Jesus in the center, Jesus is now at like the head of the table, and they're all like flanking.
Yeah,
they're perpendicular to him.
It's
not
like a
on
T-shaped
like,
table or something.
Yeah, almost like a cross.
Yeah.
Does he know that wasn't his cross that he died on? The table didn't become the cross.
Maybe it did.
I mean, he doesn't seem to know what the Last Supper is, because someone explains it to him, and then he's like, "Why would you paint this depressing thing?"
Well, his daughter is like, "That's before he died," and and Johnny Tapia is like, "What?
Does Johnny Tapia not know the rest of the story?" It worked out all right for that Jesus fella. He went through a lot, but he did not die forever. He ascended into heaven, Johnny Tapia. Because the Jesus in the painting looks just like him, right, or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what character or human figure he wants to be painted as, but you don't do much better than Jesus. But okay, so we go to this place. We gotta get introduced to it. We get introduced to 2 or 3 characters we probably shouldn't kill. Mom, daughter, I think that's it.
Yes.
Then the army does army. They do so much army. Like pre-army.
That's what I love.
They set up some army stuff, and they release a bunch of iguanas, right? That's part of it.
Oh, so yeah, they have alarms, and it's pretty good. In order to like so make the alarms so annoying that they would turn them off, they put a bag of cats and iguanas, throw it over the fence, so they keep tripping off the alarms, so they just turn the alarms off. I like that.
Yeah, and
that's that Delta Force.
And then there's also a tunnel. There's a system of tunnels that is
yes,
used.
because as Diggins mentioned, the 2 cops who are the rivals have a bunch of cousins who live in Cuba, and they know all of the tunnels. So the freedom fighters. So yeah.
So, Diggins or DJ, do either of you guys remember how the Johnny Tapia, the raid on Tapia Manor starts? What exactly is the inciting, thing?
I don't know exactly. I don't remember.
It's the remote control car, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Remote control car explodes. Then what? And this is the part that I was watching this with a friend of mine. She'd never seen it. I told her, don't worry, this is going to get fucking crazy. And she believed me because of all the stuff that was getting set up. But then one guy did one thing, and that made her eyes bulge out. Like, wait, what?
Don't they burst out of the ground?
With a bazooka.
With a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and then blow up part of the house. It's amazing.
Right. They blow up the security room so they can't call the Cuban army.
Yep.
It makes me so happy.
Doing a Bay of Pigs raid in Cuba, and so the army should be called, because this is essentially an invasion.
Yeah. And then these guys go into this house and shoot fucking everybody.
Everybody.
Mama Tapia. She gets to live. She gets bonked on the head or something.
Yeah, they hit her with the butt of the gun.
Even though she tried to shoot a bunch of them, I think.
Yes, the gun misfired, but she wanted to kill them all.
They also saved the young daughter.
Yes.
But yeah, everybody else in that place dies.
They do kill a man in front of the daughter, so that's not great.
I'm sure Johnny Tapia's done worse. But then they blow up this entire place. This thing is flattened. It looks like a tornado blew through it. And then my favorite part of the movie. And the part of the movie that, as we were leading up to it, I was kind of like, is this going to happen? Am I thinking of a different movie? Because I don't think we're set up for this car chase. And then the camera does a fun little establishing shot to show us where the car chase is going to happen. And it's great. Johnny Tapia tries to, escape in some sort of car. I forget what. And the bad boys get in a gigantic yellow Hummer. And then our establishing shot is like, I don't know if they're always called favelas or that's just what they are in Brazil. You know what I'm talking about?
I think they're just favelas in Brazil since they speak a different language in Brazil than most of Central and South America.
Right. So
but
then,
it's the same idea.
Is there a name for those? Like those little like kind of villages? They're usually on the side of mountains and cliffs, and they're little...
I don't know offhand.
Whatever those are, there's those. And Johnny Tapia's like gonna go through those. That's how he's gonna escape. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence get in the in this Hummer, and like they're at the top of this humongous row of 50 like it's not something you can drive around. And they just start going, and right before this chase starts, where they are going to plow through several houses, like 15, 20 houses, and those houses explode when they're hit. One of the characters says they're drug dealers, so it's okay to kill all of them and destroy their houses. It's so fun.
Yep. It's a whole hillside, like literally hundreds of people's homes, and it's like, oh, they're drug dealers, it's fine.
And their houses are made of like cardboard.
Balsa wood, yeah. It's insane.
And there are some people there that are diving out of the way that aren't drug dealers, like they're just extras. And there's some of the houses they're going through have like clothing lines on them. Like maybe they do drugs and maybe they make drugs, but still, there's still houses that people live in. It's not like they're fronts for drugs. Because you wouldn't need them because Johnny Tapia.
And they're houses that people live in because they're so poor they can't live anywhere else.
Exactly.
So it's not like they can just leave.
Yeah, this chase down this hill is insane. Like, trying to think of what it's like.
It is as if a child was like, oh, I'm gonna have the Hummer go boom boom, and the Hummer's just rolling down this house, and it's just explosions are at the tail end of the Hummer. Every house they touch blows up.
If this were a Fast and Furious movie, the bad boys would be the villains. Our good guys would have to follow them through a trail of destroyed houses, but our good guys would not destroy any themselves, as is traditionally the rule of cinema. Like, you have your bad guys do a thing, but don't have your good guys do that. But this is, if Michael Bay got to make a Batman movie, God help us all, Batman would kill so many more people than he killed in the Michael Bay one. Or in, like, Superman 2. They would just kill everybody. It would be so fun for them.
You mean the Snyder?
Oh, sorry, yeah, Snyder, yeah. God, it's, yeah.
Well, have you considered that they're drug dealers, so it's fine?
I did think about that.
Yeah,
you know what?
That's it. But yeah, it's like you said, it's literally
drug dealers, Diggins. They're not American drug dealers, okay? And
yeah,
yeah, they're the worst kind of drug.
We gotta
dealers.
get.
That's the thing.
Lucky us, we killed a bunch of drug dealers while we were there too.
Yeah, they're in Cuba, and Cuba's one of the bad countries, so they're basically worthless.
Yes. And then the end of the movie. Diggins seems like
the most post 9/11 energy of all.
What
Take
happens?
it, Diggins.
So they decide that the only way out, because they were going to go through the resistance tunnels or whatever to escape, but since they're being chased by Johnny Tapia and his goons, that's not an option anymore. So they decide the only way they're going to get to safety is if they drive to Guantanamo Bay and just I don't know, just show up at the fort and be like, we're Americans.
Nobody's tried that one before.
Please let us not be arrested by the Cubans. And the movie does know that there's a bunch of mines outside of Guantanamo Bay, but it, I think, dramatically underestimates how difficult it is to just drive up to the fort.
Yeah, the minefield is maybe 40 feet. It's not that far.
Not even that much, honestly.
Yeah,
it's probably maybe 20 feet max.
3 or 4 lucky jumps and you're in the fort. And there's not that many mines. I don't understand the minefield purpose there. Mode of fire at that point. Because most of our characters are in the minefield and don't land on mines.
And when the mines do explode, they're so contained that one person explodes directly next to Will Smith, and he's not even, scratched.
Yeah.
Not how explosions work, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah. And listen, what's Michael Bay? Some sort of explosions expert? How's he supposed to know what an explosion is?
Michael Bay has so little experience with explosions. How is he supposed to know?
This is his first time. This isn't this isn't your classic Wes Anderson, your Greta Gerwig movie. This is amateur. amateur hotshot Michael Bay has to try to figure this out on the fly. All right. So he, you know what? He did his best, and his best was okay. We got to give him credit for that. Someone suggested, I think actually, Honest Trailers did a video about this that I had a hard time not watching because I was just so curious. They posited that the most Michael Bay scene in the history of Michael Bay, or the most Michael Bay thing in the history of Michael Bay, is a character throwing a gun to hit a landmine. It's pretty good.
That's good.
It's funny, too, because he's like, put the gun down. And she's like, okay. And then she tosses it, and as she's tossing it, she's like, I'll put it down in the landmine by your foot. Like,
yeah, she does basically say that.
You're going for the landmine. It's very good. And then they're fine. Movie ends.
Tafia dies.
It turns out shouting "We're Americans" does totally just get you into Guantanamo Bay, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Well, like, they were probably arrested, even though if Guantanamo Bay were really the good guys, they just shoot them on sight.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're arrested at Guantanamo Bay, I'm not sure you ever see the light of day again.
Maybe Bad Boys 3 exists in someone's imagination. Maybe like,
and now we're at Bad Boys.
Maybe like the bit where the pool explodes, and because this will happen again. I don't know what they make these pools out of. I assume they're dog proof, where a dog can't run by one of them and the pool explodes. Maybe that's like all happening in their brain, and in reality they're being waterboarded. Like fever dream, you know. Because
theory.
Yeah, then we go back to they're both chilling in the pool.
Yeah.
And guys,
a new one?
We talked about 2. It's terrific, but we forgot the best scene in the movie. And not forgot it. It has nothing to do with Johnny Tapia. It has nothing to do with anything. Besides the fact that it introduces the best character in any of these.
You talk about Reggie.
Played by Dennis Green. Yes, a character named Reggie. This is so funny because it's so right in the middle of the conflict when these two characters hate each other. They still kind of get together for this bit. It's so funny, but also so weird.
It's honestly like the one time where I was like, oh, these guys are friends. Like,
yeah. Actually. And it's funny because it's funny. Like, it's funny because we know how different these guys are, right? Like, we know that it's like, oh, man, he's actually nice, and he's actually nice. Neither of them are from jail. But, man, it's fucked up, the way they treat this poor kid.
They're basically threatening to murder, including with a gun pointed at his head, a 15-year-old boy.
A 15-year-old boy that the mom knows. Like, I just don't... It's so weird.
Obviously, we can't trust a woman to make decisions for herself. We can't trust that Megan, Marcus's daughter, would be choosing to go on a date with someone who is respectable and trustworthy. So we have to make sure to threaten him with physical violence, the only thing a man can understand, of course, to make sure that he treats her right.
Yeah, and I'm not just like physical violence, like all kinds of other stuff. Because Will Smith's character Mike Lowry's character in this, the character he plays, is from jail. And he threatens a couple of other things to poor little Reggie. But
that's true.
They also, in this scene, man, I get it in the Klan scene, throw around the N-word. It's kind of funny because that's like they're like, oh, you guys are racist. That's what you think, like that's the point of it. I get it. The N-word is thrown around like crazy in this scene.
Oh yeah,
so uncomfortable. Because
I want to know that they had an African American consultant on this because it's a lot.
And Quentin Tarantino. Like, his eyes rolled so far back into his forehead. He saw the Hateful Eight. I watched, like, this movie with a friend, and I was like, oh, great. This scene is fun. We're done with dead bodies. For a second, we just get to enjoy some fun little Will Smith, Martin Lawrence comedy. And nope, you can't enjoy that either.
Nope.
It's poor. It's very poor.
I mean, in fairness, like, everyone in that scene is black, and one could say it is just an attempt to authentically recreate how the characters they are trying to portray would speak. Like, guy straight out of jail and his brother trying to keep him on the straight and narrow. One could argue that that's how those types of characters would speak, and, like, Marcus and Mike would know that and would be deliberately trying to emulate that.
One could, and I would, because... I just assume everything Michael Bay did, he did out of the goodness of his heart and out of all of the, like, sensitivity and racial, he definitely consulted, Dr. Cornel West and everybody that should have been consulted on this. And he.
Oh, don't get me wrong. They're playing horrible stereotypes, but
yeah,
you know,
I mean, but without that, very funny scene.
Yeah.
And boy, will it pay off in a big way someday.
I was gonna say it's almost like our transition.
Yeah.
To,
okay, real quick, Bad Boys 2. I like it a lot. But we didn't even talk about it. It's fucking hideous. It has so much green and orange.
Oh yeah.
It's so unlike the other two movies in this series. It's kind of cool because it's its own thing, you know? It's not just doing what everybody else is doing. It's just what Michael Bay has always wanted to do, and he did it. But God, it looks so weird. They don't feel like a trilogy at all.
No. Well, especially with how Bad Boys for Life ends, it's like,
Yeah.
Well, Bad Boys for Life ends with like, well, it's time for the Bad Boys cinematic universe.
Pretty much.
Fucking everything's a cinematic universe now.
Yep.
Sony's
got to make its money.
And yeah, I mean, anything else about Bad Boys or Bad Boys 2 that we haven't talked about yet?
Not that I could think of that I'd want to be like. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this thing.
Are there any other actors? I think we went through most of the actors. Yeah, I think we got almost all of them.
Joey Pants really is good.
He's really funny in these.
And
yeah, I would be terribly upset if anything ever happened to Joey Pants.
Yeah, that would be wrong. We shouldn't do that. He's I mean, the honest trailers for Bad Boys 1 and 2 described him as just like a walking stopwatch. Or not a walking stopwatch, a walking countdown clock. Because he just in the movies comes in and he's like, you got 4 hours, bad boys, do the thing. And like, that's all he does. But in this, he does, it's funny how much of an arc his character will have over these 3 movies. It's like, it's not mature or good, like, you know, it's not good movies. But it's almost kind of like an Avengers movie where you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, this character in the background happened to be in all the movies, and look at that, they had a slight arc, you know, like they changed. It's almost like General Ross in the Avengers movies. He's not exactly the same movie to movie. He develops with the movies, and I think Joey Pantoliano does that too, which is part of why I just love him here. Also, if you Wikipedia Joey Pants, it goes to his page.
Really? That's great.
Yep. Joey Pants redirects here for the Canadian politician. See Joe Pantalone. Well, hold on, guys. We got to take a quick detour into Joe Pantalone's life. Canadian politician, served as deputy mayor under David Miller. That's a fucking terrific name. He's from Italy, Sicily, Italy. And he was often referred to as Joey Pants. So we were talking about the one from Daredevil, in case anyone's confused.
And The Matrix.
Yep, Baby's Day Out. We all know Joey Pants' cinematographer.
I know. I shouldn't have had to reiterate.
Memento. Others. Sopranos for a little bit. He's terrific. He's still kicking, right? Obviously. Yeah, because he was in the new one. But, like, he still acts not as much as you'd think. He was in Cats and Dogs, The Revenge of Kitty Galore. So, yeah.
Wait, really?
Apparently. I mean, yeah, he does good voices. He's like a fun voice, especially if you want like a, you know, streetwise cat or dog. I could see him being a good one.
He's been acting since 1974. That's a long career.
Yeah, I feel like I mostly know him from The Matrix and the other one, Memento. But yeah, he's in the Goonies apparently. Don't remember when, but good for him, man. Love him. Anyway, okay. So that's Bad Boys 2. Next, Bad Boys 4, Life.
Ooh. This movie, man.
So this movie came out this week, or like the week before we were filming it. Relatively successful. It made like more money than they expected. Let me figure out exactly what it is. Here's my weekly meltdown. The Box Office Mojo looks different now.
Well, it
Jesus,
came out in
it's so hard.
Happens every week, man. Clockwork.
I mean, this did come out in January, which means they wanted it to die, or they expected it to die.
I think that's changed. I think now you can put a movie you think will do well in January, because it used to be a thing you wouldn't put an action movie in November, December, but now they put those there. So now I think a risky action movie goes to January, February now, because that's when like your Kingsmans come out. And that's when, like, there's pretty solid movies. Like, Harley Quinn is coming out February 2nd or something like that. Like, but obviously that is also where the movies that go to die live. So it's hard to, like, from a distance be like, Doolittle, what's the story with this? Do they have a lot of confidence in this? Or is this just dump off territory. And yeah, made $62 million this weekend. Pretty good. And by this weekend, I mean, this weekend. Which, when did it come out? Was it this weekend? Yeah. When did you guys see it? Because this is important.
A few hours before we started recording.
Same.
Yeah, so I saw it a little bit a while ago, so I'm not as fresh on this as you would hope for a person who obviously loves their Bad Boys. But I think I remember it pretty well. Does anyone want to take a shot at the plot?
Boom. All right, let's go. So, classic revenge story. There's this woman who's in jail, in some kind of Mexican jail, and she breaks out. Makes contact with someone who's revealed to be her son, and she's like, I need you to go to America, and I need you to take this, you'll find some money. Which, side note, he finds money in a casket. Is that like the money from the last movie, or this is totally separate?
That's a good question.
I think it's totally I honestly thought that he was related to Johnny Tapia for a little bit.
Me too.
And then it becomes clear eventually that he is not.
So okay, whatever. It says, go to America, specifically Miami, get some money here, take over, and kill these people. All of these people, so it's like a judge, a forensic guy, a prosecutor, and Mike Lowry were all involved in a certain case. And she goes, kill Mike Lowry last.
Yep.
She says that they're the reason your father got locked up, basically.
Yes. So, and the father was like a famous drug lord. And so she's communicating to him from Mexico. So her son, who apparently is bad at following instructions, decides to shoot Mike Lowry first because his logic is, he's a very competent cop. He's good at his job. He's a threat. Shoots him first. Totally forgot this, by the way, but the movie starts with Marcus's daughter Megan has a baby with Reggie. Who'da thunk?
God. He's back, baby. My theater went insane when Reggie showed up. We had it was such a
my
reaction.
theater did not know who Reggie was.
my theater had a sensible chuckle.
Oh my God! Well, use that as your reference for how we all experienced the movie, guys. My theater, everybody, including me, and this is so. The friend of mine that I'd seen this with, who didn't know Bad Boys, she'd never seen it before. As we were leaving the movie, I was talking about how crazy it was that Reggie was in it. And she's like, yeah, it's crazy how much everybody remembered him. Because I saw the movie yesterday, and I only kind of remember that guy. And these people must have seen it not yesterday. Because what are the odds everybody, shotguns the Bad Boys franchise before this one like it's Avengers. But no, everybody's just like, and not even, it wasn't even we saw Reggie. We thought, someone was like, oh, man, here's the dad. And we saw their reaction to Reggie, I want to say. And everybody in my theater knew who we were looking at. It was great.
Well, it's kind of clever. They do when he shows up, they frame it the exact way the shot was framed in Bad Boys 2, where it's like Reggie from behind and then Marcus on his left and Mike on his right, looking towards the camera. So it was very supposed to evoke that memory, which is part of maybe why everyone in your crowd remembered it, because they had that sense memory.
Yeah, I don't know what was wrong with my theater. I gave it a chuckle and a laugh. I'm like, oh, it's Reggie, but I don't think a lot of people are on that same wavelength, which is fine. Also, there's some talk about, at the celebration party for Marcus's grandchild, Marcus is talking to Mike, we're getting a little old for this. How long are we really going to do this for? Aren't we kind of old? And Mike's like, I'm going to do this till I die. Bad Boys for life. And then there's some antics that ensue. And then outside of this party is when Will Smith or Mike Lowry gets shot by our bad guy.
Why are they getting shot? What are they doing outside?
This is interesting. So they have a foot race because earlier when they were having a foot race to the hospital, Marcus was bragging that he beat Mike, and Mike's like, nah, fuck that. I'm gonna beat you in a foot race. So Joey Pants is monitoring the foot race, and he's like, all right, $50 on a torn ACL. Let's go. I thought that was a cute little line. And then Mike wins, but he's out in the open and just gets shot in the middle of Ocean Drive, which, for reference, is the most popular street in Miami.
Yep.
It's like the Broadway, but for Miami. So that kind of kicks off our action for the movie.
Yeah. And they are old. The movie seems to know that, but doesn't want to admit it. Obviously, that's like part of it, but they are.
Let me do my best Martin Lawrence impersonation playing Marcus Burnett.
Can't wait.
Mike, we're getting too old for this, Mike. We're not chickens anymore, Mike. We're just getting too old.
That's pretty good.
He sounded like he had a cold the entire time.
He's just an old man, you know?
But so is Will Smith.
Yeah, but Will Smith is a millionaire who pays people tons of money every day to cryogenically preserve his youth.
Fucking, I don't know. They should have had Martin. Well, they've clearly phased Martin Lawrence out. He's out of the Bad Boys. Whatever comes next, like he's gone.
No, he's still in.
I'm wondering about that.
Is he still in though?
I don't know.
I thought the end of the movie was. I mean, we could get there when we get there, but like, I thought it was kind of like, all right, we're good. This is it.
They specifically do not say that. They specifically is like, hey, Bad Boys for life. We ride together. We die together. I'm back, baby.
Really?
Yes. You saw this movie today.
Oh my God. I mean, I was itching to get out of the theater because it was a little long. But, oh, you're right. Yeah, they do the fist bump. Oh, yeah, because Mike Lowry's like, so if you want to retire, totally get it. And Marcus is like, nope, let's roll with it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Spoiler alert, neither of them die.
Well, but one of them does. The movie is mad at us for even considering that was possible. Because when Will Smith gets shot on the street doing his foot race, he does, you know how in movies, there's usually two kinds of shot. There's, you get, shot in the leg, or you get shot, but we don't see you be actually shot, and you fall down, and you seem to be shot. Or you get riddled with bullets. Will Smith gets riddled with bullets. Like
the guy fires like a semi-automatic fucking SMG.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous gun. It's so like insane. He shoots this guy. Like this guy shoots Will Smith, and he's like big giant holes in his chest, a bunch of them. And I assumed here's what I honestly thought, because I hadn't seen the trailer. I said, well, actually, this makes a little bit of sense. Will Smith did Gemini Man this year, like this last year. Will Smith did Aladdin this last year. Those are pretty intense movies as far as like how much he actually has to be in them. This franchise can't continue unless it passes a torch somehow. They're going to kill Will Smith in the beginning of the movie. That's really brave. I wonder who the new Will Smith is going to be in these. Because then Marcus is at hospital for Will Smith. Like Will Smith's like in a coma. But we hard cut to what we should assume as, or we should assume to be as a funeral for Will Smith. Did any of you think it was a funeral?
100% no.
Yeah.
I, for a second, thought it was a funeral, not for Will Smith, but for, like, someone else.
That's an interesting thought. For Reggie?
I don't know. But
they finally killed him.
Right. Clearly it was something else. It was, it was a wedding. Hooray.
Yeah, and Will Smith is there in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Just a little weird because of how killed he should be. But also, like, what happened to him?
He was shot a lot.
So much.
He was shot. So you see 3 huge bullet holes in him. There's one at, like, the center of his body, the solar plexus. Then one a little bit further down to the left where, like, a little bit above the belly button on the side. And then one where, like, his fucking appendix would be. And when they pull the bullets out of him, these are not 9mm little rounds. Like, even if it was those, right, you'd still probably be dead. These were, like, armor-piercing rounds. Like, very pointy, very long. Like, this was, if you were wearing a bulletproof vest, you'd still have a hard time with these rounds. Like, that's what he got shot with.
Yeah, but you're not Mike Lowry, though.
Right, he's Bulletproof Mike.
He was running at incredible speed, so...
And it's weird, like, Mike Lowry's like, is confronting Martin Lawrence. They're like, I gotta get revenge. I gotta get back in there. And Marcus is like, no, you gotta stop. You lived, you won, just end it. And it's like, you were Bulletproof Mike. Now you're not Bulletproof Mike. I'm pretty sure this proves he is 100% Bulletproof Mike.
Yes.
Mike Lowry is bulletproof. Bullets cannot kill him. That is the definition of bulletproof.
And he's so like, but so he has this single-minded kind of like after this is over, he's like, I have to kill this guy that killed me, right? Like he's like,
yes,
something is up. And Marcus is like, no, don't do that. You died. I told God to not let you die. And if he didn't, I would do no more violence. I'm pretty sure that's the exact phrase he uses.
Pretty much.
And it's so funny because you'd kind of assume it'd be the opposite. You know what I mean?
If you save him, I'll do all the violence.
No. Sorry. Marcus gets shot. Will Smith swears revenge.
Okay.
Marcus is like, I am now not a revenge person. I have made peace, you know?
I see. Yeah.
The dynamic between them in this movie is very strange considering who got shot and why. The why part we'll get later, but like, I could never quite square that. Will Smith got shot and he's like, I gotta shoot this guy again. It affects him a little bit, but not the way I don't know. It's something about it that's weird. What do you think of the villain, this guy? Do you like him?
He's fine. Yeah. Standard, like, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, he's not like... He has that cool scene towards the start when he gets the money where he, like, stabs all the guys who are trying to steal from him.
Yeah.
Which is, like, that was a good action scene.
And he has his little, like, knife. I don't even know what you'd call those.
It never comes up again. It's a little like not, you know, in like Naruto, they had like the little knives in their pockets.
It does. It definitely comes up again.
Oh, does it?
Doesn't it?
If it did, I missed it because I'm like, why doesn't he use his knife skills again?
Oh, it might not be him. I think another character will do something similar.
Okay,
and
sure.
It's like, oh, I guess that's where he got it from. Basically, the mom will do it.
Yes.
And I don't remember if she uses the knives or just like a broken glass something, but...
Right, yeah, I think it's a piece of glass. But, yeah, he never uses that skill again to, you know, do the killing, as it were.
Well, like, the situations he's in are pretty specific.
That's true.
Because, yeah, it's later it's going to be, like, more fighting, like fist fighting, and then just shooting someone from a distance. But, yeah, and we didn't talk about this. Yeah, the Suicide Squad is here to help him. Not really a Suicide Squad, but the Ammo Squad, what are they called? Yeah?
It was like... One of the M's was Miami, but I honestly could not remember what the acronym was. If I Google ammo back,
Army, it's Miami is one of the M's, right?
Yeah.
M is like munitions, maybe? No, that can't be it.
With the help of ammo, it's on the Wikipedia page. Will you tell me what ammo stands for? Oh, Advanced Miami Metro Operations.
There you go. Is it insane that they called it that? Who is in like, you figure they wouldn't let you do that. This is the Bang Bang Squad.
Oh,
I think you gotta change it.
You should look up the names of some real police task force.
That's probably true.
See, sometimes they do the acronym first, and then they put things in to fit the acronym.
Yeah.
So, yeah. They have 4 people who are part of Ammo. You have lead girl, tech boy.
/ love interest. Lead girl / love interest,
right?
Yeah.
You have tech boy, who's also buff.
But he's also got a terrible mustache.
Yes.
Just the worst facial hair I've ever seen.
You have quippy badass.
That
Little
guy.
Mike Lowry.
Yep. And then second female.
Third build
That's
in
your
the
task
movie.
force.
The posters are Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Vanessa Hudgens. And for the first like half hour of the movie, I was like watching the movie and I was like, wow, Vanessa Hudgens got pretty old because I assumed she was the mom. I was like, well, it's been a while since I've checked in on Vanessa Hudgens, but okay. But no, she is a tiny role in this movie. Like, I was not like disappointing. I couldn't care less. But I was just like, when is she going to be the bad guy or something? Like, when is she going to turn out to have been pulling all the strings? Because otherwise, how the hell, what agent took over? But then you look back and you're like, yeah, there's really nobody else famous in this. Besides Joey Pants and a cameo, which we will reveal in a second, there's not a whole lot of like big stars.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy that she's third build on the billing. It's Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Clearly more of artifact of cultural cachet of the actors involved. Because she does pretty much nothing the entire movie.
And then what's crazy is fourth build is Alexander Ludwig, who I believe is buff tech guy.
That's right. Well, he is also kind of a star. I recognized him. Did you guys recognize him from stuff?
No.
I don't know. I mean, if you say something that he's in, I might recognize it, but I did not recognize him.
He was in Hunger Games. He is the bad guy in Hunger Games 1, who is like the competitive villain from Village 1. Also, apparently, he's in Airbud World Pup. However, he is uncredited.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, so he pops in and out of stuff, but yeah, like he's also on the show Vikings. That's, I'd say, probably what he's most known for, but I've never seen that.
That's probably what got him fourth billing.
I think that's probably right. He's fine.
He won a Teen Choice Award for Best Villain for the Hunger Games.
Wow, congratulations.
2002. Not a lot of big movies came out that year. No Skyfall, no Avengers. Thanks, teens, you idiots.
Hunger Games wasn't 2002.
No, 2012 was the year.
2012.
Yeah. And he also won Best Fight MTV Movie Awards for Hunger Games.
Again, not a big year for movie fights, what with no Avengers and all. Jesus Christ.
Can I see what else was nominated? I don't know why I'm going down this rabbit hole.
That famous bastion of taste and sophistication, the MTV Movie Awards.
Burn that surfboard, Alexander Ludwig. You don't deserve it.
Here's what was nominated for Best Fight in 2012. You have Daniel Radcliffe versus Ralph Fiennes.
Or Fiennes or whatever. Sure. Award. I mean, an awful fight. I get it.
For Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. You have Tom Cruise versus Michael Nyqvist in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Okay.
Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill versus Kid Gang in 21 Jump Street.
Great.
And Joel Egerton versus Tom Hardy in Warrior.
Maybe this was from 2011 movies.
Oh, maybe?
Maybe it won like in 2012, so Avengers couldn't have been. But then still, where's Captain America?
Well, Avengers wasn't nominated in 2013 either, if we're going by that logic.
I swear to God, you teens.
Mark Wahlberg versus Seth MacFarlane was nominated in Ted.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a dumbass. Wait, before the internet comes at me, in 2013, the Avengers won.
Okay.
So, oof.
Got it.
Okay.
So,
all right,
teens,
cool,
you're forgiven.
Cool.
I mean, listen, you maybe you guys nominating this Alexander Ludwig fellow elevated him to the status that he could, get a role in this movie, because I liked him a lot in this. I also liked the pushy villain. Or not pushy villain, sorry. The third one of them. The, jerky bro. I thought he was a whole lot of fun. I don't know who his actor was.
What was his character
name?
I
do. Did you recognize him, Diggins?
The bro dude?
Yes.
I didn't recognize him, no.
He was the original Reggie on Riverdale.
Oh, shit!
Yes, I remember coming out of the theater and being like, it was him, and then, yeah. Yep.
Oh, shit.
I wish you could see my face right now.
Or sorry, I don't mean original Reggie. He was the second Reggie, because the first one is the one that got replaced, right? First one went to do the show with the, girl with the tapes, 12 things I hate about you or whatever.
This guy was Reggie in seasons 2 and 3 and 4.
Yes, so that's who that is. And
Charles Melton, by the way.
Yeah, I liked him in this. I liked all of them. I liked the girl too. Not the girl. Vanessa Hudgens is fine. Her name is Paola Nunez.
Paola Nunez.
I thought she was fun.
She's
she
Rita.
Rita, the head of ammo.
And / love interest of Mike Lowry.
Yeah, I didn't quite buy her as this love interest just because he didn't seem to have any interest in her whatsoever.
Well, yes. I'm just saying. That's what the
No,
movie was.
yeah. I'm saying I liked her, but not as his love interest.
I feel like Will Smith, in all of his recent movies, because we made a comment about this in maybe Gemini Man, that he has turned off every sexual dial possible. He has turned them all to zero.
Will Smith, The Rock, and Tom Cruise could get in a room full of strippers and fall asleep. There's just nothing for him. They're the most non-sexual actors, because I think they're trying to appeal to everybody, and also trying to appeal to not just trying to appeal to everybody. They want everybody to think they could, sleep with them because they don't want it to not be them. I think it's also they want to appeal to markets in the world with very repressed sexual stuff, so they have this really kind of tame image, and I hate it.
Yeah, I feel that. You need that non-threatening energy, even though they're just gonna go around and just beat up people, which since we're talking about actors in this movie, and it kind of transitions because the plot's moving along. So Mike Lowry decides to do it, right? He's gonna go after the guys.
Yep.
And the tension between him and Ammo is Ammo's new school copping, surveillance and using technology and drones and satellite feeds. But Mike Lowry's like, old school cop, got a nose to the grindstone, figure it out. So he goes to a butcher shop to interrogate someone. And who does he interrogate, guys? Anyone want to? I'm just gonna tee this up.
Yeah, he's he goes in to Manny, the butcher guy, and he takes one look at him and he's like, "I know how I'm gonna make you talk. You're gonna have to go down on your wife until you tell me what."
Oh my god! Yeah.
Who sold these guns?
People that don't know, that is something he does not do, and he is very public about it, and it's weird. Didn't love him before. It's like mostly because I found him quite annoying, although I enjoyed quite a bit of his music. But this really made the internet turn on him. It's pretty funny.
We're of course talking about DJ Khaled,
as we all know.
I actually didn't know that. So he doesn't.
Nope.
He publicly announced on like Twitter or Instagram, like, "I never go down on my wife. I'm the king, baby."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
all right then.
And yeah, it's so embarrassing for him. But also, like, it's just a weird. I guess it's just a weird thing to tell anybody. But I don't know, man. I got nothing to say about that except for DJ Khaled. Not great in this movie either. He has a really hard time not being DJ Khaled.
Yeah, like he all he goes is, "Mike Lowry, I swear I didn't do it. I don't know anything." Another shit. No, Mike Lowry, listen, I'm straight now. I'm just a butcher. Would you like some cut of meat?
I love going down on my wife now.
I wonder, like, there have to be more informants that they speak to. Like I want a movie where they just go to an informant and the informant tells them, right? Because by then they have a reputation, right? Where you just walk in, "Hey, Mike Lowry, the guns are," because it's not like you're not getting in trouble, and you're even in more trouble now, right? Because like let's say you are DJ Khaled's character Manny, and you know where the guns came from. A couple other people know where the guns came from too. Mike Lowry goes to you, hopefully in private, because that's how this works. And like, you know, he doesn't now, but let's say he did. And he's like, "Hey, Manny, I need you to tell me where the guns are coming in." Manny has two options. Manny can say, "Here's where the guns are coming in. They're this port. Now, don't tell anybody that you know that I told you. Like, I'm an informant. Ideally, you want to keep me alive." And Will Smith's like, "Yep, that's how this works." Or you go and break his hand and still find out. And then it's clear he's the one who told. So he's going to get killed later. Like, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're criminals, Nando. You can't go around treating them like people.
Well, so then there's this weird culture shock, right? Because Will Smith is Will Smith is investigating this crime because it's personal, right? Shit got real, and everyone tells him not to. Ammo tells him not to. Chief tells him not to. Martin Lawrence, who has found a new, like, he's zen, he's retired. He sits down in a bathrobe and watches TV. He is also not part of it anymore. And Will Smith is like, "No, I'm gonna." And I forget how does he get Joey Pants to make him do it? Is he just like, "I'm gonna do it anyway"?
He goes to DJ Khaled and gets the info, and he's like, "Hey, I went to this guy and got info. I'm on the case." And he's like, "God damn it, fine. You can work with Ammo." So because they both get to the same information. They both find Ammo and Mike Lowry find what they're trying to do is figure out who dealt the gun to the killer.
Yes.
So they both get that same info.
Which begins the ping pong of whether the movie not being able to decide if Ammo is good and effective or not.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to explain, Diggins?
Well, I mean, it's over the course of the movie, it's like, it sets up this adversarial relationship where Ammo is like the new hotness, and Mike and Marcus's old school methods are like the past. And you think it's building, at first it seems like it's building towards but they're going to prove that the old ways are still good and better than this new bullshit. But then Ammo is like actually kind of good and helps him, and they're like, oh, maybe they're good. But it just keeps going back and forth, where it's like sometimes Ammo is good and effective, and then sometimes they just don't know how to get things done, and Mike and Marcus need to show them how. And the movie never quite settles on a tone, much like it never settles on who's right between Marcus and Mike in the first place.
Yeah, because it starts with just Mike doing it, and Marcus is not involved at all. He's totally out. And he's like, I'm nonviolent. I prayed to God. We're not doing this anymore. But then Marcus quickly gets roped in. What gets Marcus? Oh, one of Marcus's informants calls him, and then he's like, all right, Mike, let's go talk to my informant. And then, now Marcus is roped into the info and into the whole deal.
But also, they have to, go on stakeouts together, right? And, it is so funny how the movie Marcus hasn't aged at all. Or, no, sorry, Mike Lowry hasn't aged at all. In real life...
He does dye his goatee.
Right, yes. Oh, yeah, that's cute. I like that. When he's painting his little goatee, and, yeah, that was funny.
I will say, I think this was the funniest of the movies.
Absolutely.
I think the jokes were really well executed in this one, and, actually... A lot of them were, actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
yeah, I could see that.
What we're referring homophobic and weird.
There's also that.
It's just homo uncomfortable.
And it was still somewhat authoritarian, but it was less like Will Smith arguing directly into the camera that cops should shoot with suspects in the head, like Bad Boys 2 was. But the scene we're talking about here is while when they're at the party for Marcus's grandson being born, Marcus is kind of teasing Mike about how he dyes his goatee with midnight black cocoa or something.
Yeah, it was Cocoa Midnight, I think.
And Mike is denying it, but then while he's laying in the hospital bed, still in a coma from being shot, we get a scene of Marcus applying the dye to his goatee, and it was the way it's framed and everything. It's actually a pretty funny joke.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
This movie. The one thing that kills me about this movie is that there's actually parts of this movie where it could be somber, but the movie doesn't want to dwell on it for too long because they don't want to bum you out. And there's one part I'll talk to later that really kills me with that. But I think in terms of they were very trying to keep a, for the most part, light-hearted tone with some action scenes dispersed throughout. But I think they do pretty well. There's one of the ammo stakeouts is so they have to go get down this guy who I think is related to the gun something or whatever, and it's his birthday in a club, and Mike and Marcus try to get into the club, and the two lady, they're not bouncers, they're probably the club,
the promoters,
they have the iPads and they manage
who
gets in or not. Yeah. And they're lines over there, and then Reggie from Riverdale. The young Mike Lowry badass who's a smack talker, he's like, oh my god, ladies, you look so cute. This is my uncle. Could you let him in? He just got divorced. They're like, oh, you poor thing. Come on in. And that's how they get into the club to take down Zuelo,
who is a rapper in real life, or he is a musician, part of I googled this, Daddy Yankee's crew.
Okay.
Which I was kind of wondering, what's this guy's deal? He's not an actor, but he looks he's got a particular look. He kind of feels like a, musician turned actor. And so he is. That Reggie is dressed in that scene in a crazy way. He has.
Oh yeah. What is he?
I'm pretty sure he's wearing the Marcus special, a vest with no shirt, plus these ridiculous tiny circle glasses, but he's also the DJ at this club.
Yeah, is this his undercover or one of his covers is the DJ for the nightclub? Because if so, that's crazy.
Well, no, the DJ is that woman hanging from trapeze stuff.
Right. Then what's he doing back there?
I think it's just part of the setup is Reggie from Riverdale is, as the cue for them to move in on Zuelo, is to just hop up on stage and be like, it's someone's birthday today. Hey.
Yeah, I guess everyone's so drunk they're not questioning it. But,
yeah.
I just thought that was funny, how they got Mike and Marcus into the club. It's kind of that tone that the movie has for most of it.
Well, their setup for that is great because it's so there's 5 of them, right? And we talked about this. 5 ammo. Mike and Marcus dress like they would have in an older Bad Boys movie, try to get in, can't, and then they're brought in. Vanessa Hudgens, well, we'll get to her. The Rita, is that her name? The love interest?
Yeah, Rita.
She's just dressed all, pretty gown, kind of, it seems a little
Night
out of
out
place
on
for
the
this
town.
party.
A gown is not how I would describe it.
It was a dress.
I would say it's a little bit more formal than a cocktail dress, though. It's not it goes like down. She can't dance in it. She's at a dance club. Like, I'm surprised she can walk in it.
Yeah, it's not a gown though.
No, it's not a gown. Yeah, there's a little awkward.
Gown's got a tail.
Yeah.
So what? But yeah, whatever. Some kind of going out dress.
But yeah, Rafe is dressed in his silly outfit with his glasses, and then Kelly is her name. Vanessa Hudgens' character is like a bottle girl. She has weaseled her way into the bottle girl, like table service industry, or just like stolen a bottle because she is young and attractive, and is able to like infiltrate the infiltrate the platform
the VIP
that
section.
Zuelo is in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because then Martin and Will just each take a bottle and get into this thing also. So they could have done it at any time.
Yeah, it was behind this train of bottle girls, and they all, and then the two guys, these two old dudes are right behind him, and then he's like, "This is the best part. You're under arrest." And then Zuelo flees. I am surprised that Mike Lowry just didn't pull out his gun and shoot him in the kneecap. Like, all right, you're coming with us.
Well, I feel like he almost did. And it didn't seem like the guys around Zuelo really had, like, they were going to try to protect him, but it seemed like they were more or less caught. Because Vanessa Hudgens had a gun on him. All the other guys had guns on him. Alexander Ludwig's hanging out in the box, in the van, in a suit and tie.
Vanessa Hudgens pulled Zuelo's gun from him.
Yeah. She
had that, like, quick time reaction, like, God damn.
I loved her in this. But just because her character had no personality besides just, I'll this seems fun. I'll be part of it.
It was no discernible trait. Like, so the tech guy who we haven't talked about a bunch, he was my favorite character. So he's a tech guy, right? He does all their tech, and he's jacked though. Like he's huge. And Will Smith at one point's like, why isn't he out there? Why is he behind here? How does someone who looks like that get so good at tech?
Yep.
Of course, meaning that he's white. White guys can't do tech.
That's I think it's more that he is strong.
No,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was making a joke that did not land.
I
so
gotcha.
This is why I'm not allowed to make the jokes.
Here, I'll make you a joke, DJ.
I get in trouble.
Here we go. He's he does tech, which is weird because he has such a normal, cool mustache. You'd expect him to be some sort of male stripper, but instead he has a weird mustache.
You did it, Nando. You got me.
Hideous mustache. It really is just. I knew because I didn't recognize him from Hunger Games, so I was like, this guy's an attractive star. He's a Hollywood guy, but Jesus, you could not. It made me so uncomfortable looking at him. And I'm like, are they trying to? It almost felt like the one that the guy that was the cool one, the new Will Smith kid, Reggie. It's almost like Reggie's actor was like, well, we'd both be the cool one. So I want you to just make him look as disgusting as you possibly can without doing anything crazy, like giving him a big old scar on his face. And that's what they came up with, just so that at the end when he shaves his face, it just looks normal, and you're like, oh, good, he's so better good, now. Yeah. He's fixed his one character fault.
That's how we know that he's, had character growth, is he shaved his mustache.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mustaches and beards, goatees are a big part of this movie, okay? It's a symbol for staying young and being cool and tough and all of the things that this movie values.
So his whole thing is that he won't be violent because one time he was violent and he killed a guy. So now he won't be violent.
Yeah, he literally punched a man to death.
But punch. He one-punch someone to death.
And listen, I guess you punching a guy to death is, it's tough, and you probably have to go to therapy.
In the real non-Bad Boys world, that would be incredibly traumatic.
But in the Bad Boys world, it's like, yeah, I guess that's what they all do. Everyone does that. I don't know if he heard on the news. I guess he didn't. But Mike Lowry is still legendary outside of the world, in the world of the movie. So I don't know what he's legendary for. It probably isn't Cuba and everything that happened there, but it's still something pretty crazy
for
a bunch of people
the
died.
Second Bay of Pigs.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I would know who that guy was.
Exactly, but everybody does, especially Vanessa Hudgens is like, that's Mike Lowry. Respect him.
Yeah, right.
He is our god.
To be fair, there are people who work in the Miami PD, so I could imagine being like, hey, that's a local cop who is like a legend in this department.
Right.
But
Maybe
the fact
word
that
gets around, yeah.
But I mean, people all throughout Miami seem to know who Mike Lowry is, or at least the press treats it that way.
And he goes viral. Like, his YouTube video of him getting shot goes viral.
I think that's more about just a video of a guy shooting a cop than about it being Mike Lowry.
I don't know if people know. YouTube's really cracking down on those whole cop murder videos. They almost never let you put them up. We're always trying.
Did you catch the one point where the tech guy is like, we're checking 4chan?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
That was so funny.
It's 8chan now, fuckers.
Yeah, they're never going to be quite on the ball with that, but they were close. Okay.
There was... no, go ahead.
So while all of this nonsense is going on, and there's all kinds of like stuff that's... Well, because before Martin Lawrence gets involved, they also kill a suspect. And Will Smith gets in a fight with that... the youngish one, the new villain.
Yeah.
And the youngish one is wearing a motorcycle helmet. And this whole fight is like almost like, oh my God, he's just as good as me. Finally, a bad guy that can stand up to Mike Lowry's physical prowess, I guess. Never thought that was kind of what he was known for, but he beats the hell out of him.
Gemini Man.
Exactly.
Not a Gemini Man.
It's that scene from Gemini Man. Except this isn't a clone of Will Smith, ... So what's the deal? How could someone possibly beat Mike Lowry, a guy that was shot a couple weeks ago or months or whatever? Also, but this has my favorite joke of the movie, where two of my favorite jokes. First of all, Martin Lawrence, and in like logic of the movie, he makes exactly the wrong decision. Brings his little baby. He's like, I gotta drop him off at the not the salon, the spa. That's where the ladies are, and then we can do we can get this witness. And the witness is like, please, God, don't let them get me. They're going to kill me. And it's like, all right, well, he picks up Will Smith. Will Smith is like, we got to go do the witness thing first. And Martin Lawrence is like, do you know how much trouble I'll get in if I don't drop off my baby? And spoiler alert, they're too late for the witness, which means Martin Lawrence ruined this.
He did.
It's his fault.
He was wrong.
100% his
yes.
fault.
He didn't want to bring a baby to a police business with a potential shooter. I mean,
not that part. The being like lackadaisical about it.
Yeah, like his whole like attitude was definitely didn't match the situation's outcome in a way that kind of makes him seem like he was right. Which is where I think this is the moment where the movie turns, where the movie becomes cops are right, stay-at-home dads are wrong, and just peaceful human beings in general. But he makes Will Smith drop the baby off at the spa. That's really funny. The face Will Smith makes when he gets caught sneaking the baby in is great. And then they get to the place where the witness is. They walk out of the car, and the witness dies and hits the car.
Yep.
And do you remember what they say?
No.
That better be a safe or a piano.
Or a piano.
That got me. Again,
It was great
I think this movie's actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
it is.
That was a really funny bit of the movie.
It's not harmful to a group of people.
Yes.
Like, none of the humor hurts anybody except for, like, the individual characters in the movie. So,
100%.
yeah, it's great.
What else happens?
Yeah.
I don't know. What else happens in the movie?
All right, so...
It's probably close to done, right?
Yeah, so, okay. So Ammo gets info from Zuelo.
No.
We forgot about this.
Zuelo's phone. They get Zuelo's phone.
Yeah, because after the chase, so the thing we just talked about happens before they go to the club. Then they track down the accountant for a lot of the guys they're going after and get info from him about Zuelo.
That was a weird fucking scene.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Which one was? Where they fought and did like the turn the other cheek bit.
Yeah,
I think that
weird.
Set up a fun thing later in the movie. I think that was clever.
Yeah. And that was the joining of Ammo and the Bad Boys.
Right. This is where Martin Lawrence has called Ammo because he hates Will Smith, or not hates Will Smith, hates being a lawman. He's done with the Bad Boys life.
Yes. So he calls Ammo. And this is going to be the one last time, the one last ride.
And also because if we talked about this yet, Will Smith should be in love with the girl, but he's not. Right? Like Martin Lawrence really wants them to be together, and he just refuses.
Well, they were together in the past.
Right.
And then they broke up, and Martin Lawrence is like, you shouldn't have let her go, man.
Yeah, Will Smith is all up in his business. Or Martin Lawrence is all up in his business. It's a little much, honestly.
Yeah. So, right. So there's these. So now they join together. The accountant scene's fine. So, like, this coked up giant dude is beating up Martin Lawrence, and Martin Lawrence is trying to be all nonviolent. It doesn't work. So Ammo comes in to save the day. Then they eventually get Zuelo's phone, right?
Well, So what happens is they have a big car chase after Zuelo escapes from the club, which eventually becomes a motorcycle chase. Where Will Smith convinces Martin Lawrence to give up on the nonviolence thing very easily, honestly. And then it never really comes up again, and it's like, oh, I thought we were doing something here, but I guess we're not. Whatever.
I think the point he makes to Martin Lawrence is actually pretty compelling. There's a...
Which is?
Well, there's like a... what's the word I'm looking for? There's a, not like proverb, but I guess like story, right? It's like there's a man who is in a... There's a man who's in a flood. He's on the top of his house, and he's about to die. And a guy comes in a boat, and he's like, "Hey, I can help you." And the guy says, "No, God's gonna save me." And then the boat guy leaves, and another guy comes by in a jet ski. "Hey, I'm gonna save you." "No, I'm waiting for God to help me." Guy leaves. Another guy comes in a helicopter. He says, "Hey, you need to come. The last person that's gonna help you." And then guy says, No, I promise God's gonna come help me." And then the helicopter leaves, and then God shows up, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he's like, "What do you mean? I was waiting for you to help me." And he's like, "I sent you a boat, a jet ski, and a helicopter. What did you think those were for?" Right? So it's like maybe God isn't just going to show up and tell you things. Maybe it's and I guess a modernized version of that is maybe your sidecar is actually a minigun. You know, maybe God put that minigun in your sidecar so you can kill everyone he doesn't like. So yeah, it's kind of that, I guess.
This is God's minigun.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, not bad. I you know what? I thought that was cute.
It was the only quick way in this movie where Martin Lawrence has to be an active participant to get him there. And it's like, fine, whatever.
I think you could also have said no more violence could be no more killing, right? And have Martin Lawrence creatively kill but not, or hurt but not kill people, or like blow up cars but not cause giant explosions, because he doesn't kill the helicopter guys, right?
Yes.
And that's what I was like, well, he's going to shoot down the helicopter. This is the end of the movie, but it's not.
It's the fake end of the movie before the real end of the movie.
It's pretty bizarre.
Anyway, they have a big chase. Zuelo ends up on a helicopter with Armando, who is the main villain, man. Will Smith gets up on the helicopter too and wants to... and it's almost got him, but then Armando, right before he's about to kill him, says, "Hasta el fuego." And that makes Will Smith pause until Martin Lawrence lays down some cover fire, and Will Smith is able to escape.
Yup. And this gets to our transition to the final part of the movie. Will Smith has Zuelo's phone. Some random guys in suits who do not have names shut down Ammo.
That's true.
There's just two guys in suits. They have no names, and they shut down Ammo.
They're not even really on screen. They're in the background.
You get like their silhouettes. And
they're
we don't even know
definitely
why.
going to be the bad guys in a future movie or something. We're going to find out what their deal is, I believe, without a doubt.
Well, as Dick has mentioned, we are now in the Bad Boys cinematic universe, so here we are.
We'll get there.
Yep.
Yeah, we will get there. But for now, Ammo gets shut down, presumably because of all the destruction that happened in Miami. Because unlike Bad Boys 2, where every 5 minutes there's just destruction and disarray everywhere, this was kind of like the first time where there was like a big chase that's like leaked into the city and there was a lot of damage and stuff. So Ammo shut down.
Yeah, it's like Mike Lowry never existed. It's like he's in a new dimension.
Well, actually, there may be one reason why this broke down, but we'd have to go back to something we skipped to say what it is.
We skipped a
what
lot of
would
stuff.
that be?
What was it?
In between the witness who dies and gets thrown onto Marcus's wife's car, and when they team up with Ammo, there's a scene where Joey Pants and Mike are hanging out at Joey Pants' daughter's basketball game.
How did we forget this? I'm such a fool.
Granddaughter? I guess it's his granddaughter, considering the ages involved.
Yeah.
No, I think it's... I think it's daughter.
I don't know. Well, I mean, not Mike Lowry. Marcus has a daughter, or a daughter that had a kid, so it might be his.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Pants is, let's see, but 68 years old.
Yeah, he's pretty sure as old as Marcus.
All right, so sure. It's a granddaughter, whatever.
Probably supposed to be a granddaughter. Which would also explain why he's not taking his her with him when he's about to leave. If she's going with her actual parents, that would make more sense.
But he's also sitting with himself. Like, he's like, him and, like, it's like he came to watch his, their granddaughter play soccer. And it's like. It's
basketball.
Or basketball, sorry, duh. And then he's like, "Are you gonna come sit with us, Dad?" No. I have to have a cop meeting up in the top of the rafters. I'll still pretend I'm watching this sport, but really, this is another cop meeting. Okay, whatever.
But yeah, they have a heart to heart. He tells him a Buddhist proverb about how we can't let our emotions control us to the point of where we don't know, or we can't let our passions control us to the point where we don't even know what we're doing anymore. And then, as they're discussing dinner plans, Joey Pants gets shot.
So mad. I was so mad. Like, why did the movie do this? The stakes were already ratcheted up. They had every reason to go after this guy, and they fucking killed Joey Pants. I was so fucking upset. So mad.
Well, we needed a way to get Marcus back in, because Marcus was still out at this point.
Was he still? Okay.
Yeah, he was only bringing Mike to meet the witness because the witness called him and he was like, well, I'm not going to let this lead go away, but I'm still retired.
Yeah.
Fine. So I guess that's why I'm still angry. Also, and this was the point I was going to bring up earlier, but decided to hold, they leave no room for this death to have impact when I think it should have, but it's like funeral for guy, moving on. And so quickly do we forget Joey Pants.
Yeah, it was weird. And we already had fake funeral. What's the point? Like, it's smash cut to another wedding? No, this one's a funeral. Okay.
We also had a scene there where Armando had a clear shot at Mike through the ref of the basketball game who was trying to give medical attention to Joey Pants. And yeah, he's like, no, I'm not going to. He like says to the guy who's with him, who I think is Duelo, actually. He's like, no innocence.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to kill an innocent person. So, hey, maybe Armando is a better guy than we thought. We'll come back to that later.
Maybe. So
yeah, what else we got?
Oh, but anyway, that might be why Ammo actually gets shut down, because they no longer have Joey Pants protecting them.
Right.
True.
Well, I mean, Joey Pants he made a mockery of this investigation. The whole bringing Will Smith on in the first place is grounds enough to get Ammo, because Ammo's 4 people. It's not a big thing. It's a couple of guys doing one thing, at a time. It doesn't seem super important. The individual guys are valuable, so just put them on other teams. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, it might not. We call it Ammo, but you could also just call it Kelly, Dom, Raph, and Rita. It's not a division.
Yeah, it's not like 20 people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah, there's not a bunch of guys on computers behind Ammo constantly working. It's just these guys.
Yeah, it's just the one guy. It's the one guy with the bad mustache.
It's like, what if instead of shooting everybody, we used a drone to have and had that shoot people? And then that's like, okay, I guess you guys get your own room.
Fun names. One thing that before Joey Pants died that I thought was quite funny. He's going to his granddaughter. He's like, at the end of the game, don't pass, shoot or shoot. And then she takes up a shot and misses. And he goes, she's got the family curse, which was a nice callback to the first movie.
Yeah.
I like that. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's true. All right, last thing. Not last thing, but last bit of the movie. They're bad boys
folks,
again.
Can you guess what happened? The bad guy got away.
Yep.
Escaped to another country.
No reason.
So now time to invade another country.
So, okay. Can I go through real quick? Two endings that we skip, right? At one point, it seems like Martin Lawrence is going to shoot the helicopter down with his chain gun from the little sidecar, and he doesn't. And that felt like it wouldn't have been the best, especially not the most bad boy ending. But if that was the last thing that happened in the movie, and then it was like, oh good, we stopped him, I'd be like, okay, that sounds about right. And then there's a shot after that when like a whole scene when they discuss going to Mexico and doing another war crime. Or like another breaking more international laws. And again, I'm like, there's a shot where they're talking. They're like, you're not gonna come help me or something. And Mark's just like, no, Bad Boys for Life. And they do the fist bump. And then it zooms out and plays a song. And I was like, in my brain, I was like, oh, this is the Empire Strikes Back moment. We're going to do another one of these that's part 2 of this movie. And this is where it ends. But that's not right. Like, that's not what they did. But I was convinced that was the end of the movie.
That would have been better. Insane.
Right?
It would have been better.
A whole movie
I
of them just sneaking
disagree.
into Mexico and killing everybody.
Could have a whole movie dedicated to the Mexico raid.
Yeah.
Think of how much detail you could put in there.
You cannot do a part 2. You can't pull a part 2 on this
people
movie.
in my theater would have
You cannot
rioted.
do it.
Yeah. Like,
Nah, you could do it.
after Infinity War, all bets are off. I think you could, I mean, I think the Mexico stuff is great, really, really amazing. But I think you could skip it and still have a pretty solid movie. And I think you would leave people wanting more. Like, it would be like, oh my God, can't wait for Bad Boys 4. You gotta see how this ends. But then, and it's because I think you would then have to reveal the other thing, which is why I think this is a fun Empire Strikes Back moment.
Yeah.
So who wants this one? I don't want it.
I'll take it.
Okay.
So, as it turns out, the woman who we haven't spoken about much, but she's Armando's mother, who sent him on his journey, has been in contact.
She's kind of been pulling the strings the whole time, sort of.
Yeah.
And she'll like get down and dirty and stab people, and she's like a weirdo.
Yeah.
She's super
She had a prison break scene that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was very up of the movie. Kind of glossed over it, but yeah, it was pretty awesome. They got her out by dressing her in like the guard's clothes.
Yeah,
and
stabbing
like,
the guard, dressing her like the guard,
Yeah.
and then throwing the guard in the washing machine.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. So as it turns out, Will Smith on his very, very first job went undercover with a drug cartel and was the driver for this woman who was married to a Mexican drug lord. And they got friendly. And they became close, and they fucked.
Off screen.
And by the way, she's a witch?
I don't know.
La bruja.
I thought at one point she was going to have powers, and I was like, oh, get the fuck out. But
They do kind of a weird exoticizing thing where, like, one of the Mexican Christianity has some aspects to it that would not be familiar to an American practitioner.
Yeah.
They incorporate some, like, they're not meant to be real people, but like saints that are like representative of other things. And so she's like a worshiper of Santa Muerte, which really just means Saint Death. Who?
Yeah, that's what I figured when she was saying that. I'm like, oh, cool, some kind of god of death, like a Grim Reaper. Cool.
So
that's what I read.
She's like, she's like, whoa, crazy Mexican death worshiper, and it's like, okay, this is a weird thing to be going with here, but sure. It's like, it's a little racist. It's
It's fair enough.
But
Bad Boys, I say true to the franchise.
Did she?
So
she really worship death, or was that part of an image she created to trick people? Because I couldn't decide what she thought she was.
I don't know. It seemed kind of sincere at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Anyway,
either way, she's no Johnny Tapia.
She's no Johnny Tapia. Oh yeah, and she fucked Will Smith, and they had a kid. And oh my God, Armando is Will Smith's son.
Whoa! Also, can I just say part of the thing that Will Smith brings up as like reasons for how he figured this out is that the kid says "hasta el fuego" to him, which was the thing they had together. The thing like he and Isabel, who is the mom, said to each other. Which sure, fine. But he says it's not even real Spanish, which, what? Those are Spanish words. It doesn't, it's maybe not.
Nonsense, right?
It's maybe, no, it means until the fire. That's not, like, nonsense. It's maybe not, like, a phrase people say in Spanish, which is probably true, but it's real Spanish.
Yeah.
All right, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
it's not a common Spanish phrase.
Like, it's something that's so nonsensical that if someone said it, you go, oh my God, that person must be my son. Impossible.
Well, right. Diggins, I get your point. It's not like he said, Urachu Magamu.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fake Spanish that we came up with together.
Yeah, and
it's like, only possibly could have been him.
And the best part of it, I think, and this is why I still think this movie's great, is Will Smith goes through this whole thing. It's like, I was a real, young guy, and she was my security detail, and I was I was very undercover, and we fell in love, and we're going to blow the whole thing. She was called the Witch of the Santa Maria or whatever, and we went, and we almost at the last minute, but then I betrayed her, and she went to jail, and now I'm pretty sure this is her kid. And Martin Lawrence's reaction is, you fucked a witch? What? And then later, when they go on a plane over people, like over a row of cars, he's like, why wouldn't you wear a condom when you fucked a witch? It's really funny. I thought that whole bit with the plane when they switched seats with everybody was pretty funny.
Yeah, I like that.
I did think it was funny. It did undercut a little the serious dramatic thing they were going for in that moment. Because right before that, he's like, what are you going to do when you see your son? I'm going to kill him. Like, whoa, man, are you sure about that? But then we're also doing jokes, and they're good jokes, but it kind of cuts the tension of that moment pretty significantly.
Yes. And not only does it cut the tension of that moment out pretty significantly, and that makes it kind of feel almost like a Marvel movie if we're getting anything out of this. I know it ends in a really Bad Boysy way, but Martin Lawrence kind of feels like how they'll have a nice genuine moment and Groot will eat a piece of leaf off his shoulder, It kind of feels like they Marvelized the Bad Boys.
Well, everything's got to be a cinematic universe these days.
But even in terms of the comedic beats,
I know. But I'm saying they crib the formula, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and team ups because shocker, Ammo joins up with
Yep.
By the way, I fucking love the flimsy premise where the Rita comes in. She's like, DEA's backing us. If we back this guy, DEA gets the credit. But if we fail, we were never here. So, win-win for them.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great premise. I almost feel like you can just go to every, in movies 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, they just have to go to a new agency every time and be like, hey, these guys are allowing us to break international law. Hey, this is the FTC. Hey, sorry, this is the, I'm trying to think of another even dumber one.
Some Department of the Interior, Parks Service or something.
Yeah, Parks and Recreation. They're going to let us do it. Department of Education wants us to kill, Hayazo murder dragon. We got to go get him. So if we go to Japan and we bring all these textbooks, we can kill him. As long as the textbooks make it there. Okay, we're going to smuggle in a box of textbooks. Because, it's so different. It's so different from Bad Boys 2, but the same that it's almost like this is they're trying to make a knockoff Bad Boys 2, but not get sued by Bad Boys 2.
And parody it, but not quite. You don't want to make fun of it.
Yeah, you don't want to get that copyright strike. You got to be in fair use. That's what they're doing. They're fair using Bad Boys 2 to make Bad Boys 3.
Yeah.
So where does the villain live? Where does she hold up?
Some rando house,
like a ridiculous demented mansion. Yeah.
The Palacio de Hidalgo, or Hidalgo Palace. This is the episode where I show off that I kind of know Spanish, everybody. It's which Mike Lowry says is some old abandoned hotel on the edge of the city, because they're in Mexico City, that they used to hang out in when he was undercover.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Ammo shows up, and they kick so much ass. Boy, howdy, would you believe it? What was your favorite bit of ass kicking in the Ammo bit, in the whole big firefight? Before, the end.
My part was when Swole Tech Man full body tackles a pillar to collapse a balcony where one guy is shooting from, so he falls to the floor.
It's pretty ridiculous. I was a big fan of when they gave the drone machine guns, and they just
also
had
good.
Reggie just had a set of visors on, and he was just video game killing everybody. Almost seems like that should kind of be what Ammo does now. It's a pretty effective way to kill everybody in a building.
Yeah, damn! I didn't know you could just take one of those regular ass drones that you could buy at a Best Buy and strap machine guns to it, and it would work.
Yeah. What did Vanessa? I guess everybody got a moment. What was Vanessa Hudgens' moment?
Vanessa Hudgens had a extended action sequence that the only thing I remember about it is when she runs right up to a guy, puts her gun up into his stomach, and just pumps him full of lead.
Oh yeah, that was badass.
Beautiful. That was brutal.
Love it. And then what about Rita? Did she have a cool moment?
I can't
remember.
Did,
Did she like do someone's about to die, but then she shoots the guy that's going to kill them from far away, and it's like, oh man, good, you know? Is it that?
Maybe.
I don't know. Her showing up was help enough. Because she killed the well, she will eventually kill the witch, right?
Isabel. Yeah, I was saving that, but yes,
so
she does get to kill Isabel.
And then also Swole Guy gets a moment to be like an army commando for a second, right? They're like, we need you to save somebody, and he like does all kinds of cool shit. It's awesome.
It was like an Unleash the Beast moment for him. Like, you gotta do it.
Yeah, I don't know why Ammo isn't just him and friends now. Like, he's the best guy. He can do all the tech. He can beat the shit out of anybody who wants, and he's nice. He seems generally well adjusted. He understands therapy in a way that no one else in these movies seems to.
But then he has to go to therapy like a loser,
like a dork. Unless he fucks his therapist, then he's cool and tough like the rest of us.
That was the one where it was like kind of shitty. Like if you go to therapy, then you're dumb.
Oh my god, they almost
that
had
was
it.
Not
they
cool.
were so close.
They were so close,
so
especially
close.
In 2020 or 2019, whatever this movie was written. Where, well, yeah, going to therapy is much more mainstream than when Bad Boys 2 came out. So,
and even in Bad Boys 2, it was like annoying, kind of, but it was normal. Like, it wasn't. It's like they kind of. It's just that in the movie, the therapy they go to is silly and involves a little phrase they repeat, but like. They don't make too much fun of him for going to therapy. I feel like by now, at least Marcus should have some sort of respect for it. I get Mike Lowry. Yeah. I would see that joke being like, he's like, I have to go to a lot of therapy. And they're like, I bet you do. And he's like, yeah, and you guys got to come with me. And they're like, oh, okay, sure. And then Mike and Marcus go over to the corner, and Mike's like, I'm not going to his therapy. And Marcus is like, what's wrong with you, dude? He said he wanted you to come to the therapy. He's like, all right, I'll go.
It's like, it's your job.
Yeah. All right, never mind. You're a different character than I am. We're not the same guy anymore. Okay. But yeah, they couldn't quite do it. They were so close. And then there's the big final fight, and it's pretty awesome. By the way, this whole place, do you remember what lights this place on fire? Something explode?
Oh, no.
Isn't it when the helicopter crashes through the stained glass ceiling?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good. And then Mike confronts the witch lady and the kid, and Mike lets the kid beat him up, and then the witch is bad.
Well, he tells him, like, I'm your pops.
He tells him, but also doesn't Mike, like, force him to, kind of? Or Marcus? I feel like Marcus is way more involved in that than I kind of expected.
Well, at the start, before shit pops off, Marcus, like, gets brought in by Armando, because originally it was just Isabel and Mike meeting.
Right.
And he's like, Mike, you gotta tell him this whole thing started because people aren't communicating. You gotta tell him.
Yeah.
And then the fight breaks out, so they don't pick that back up until the end of the scene.
Oh, and Marcus puts on his glasses and becomes an undercover super cop, like just the greatest.
Oh my god!
In history.
Instantly,
it's so funny. It's like HD.
That was sick.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was good.
And the end of every movie, Marcus gets a new skill that we'll definitely forget about in the next one. End of the first one, he can drive really well. That's never brought up again. He's, in fact, a bad driver. And then end of this one, he could shoot really well. I have a feeling he won't be wearing glasses and shooting all the bad guys in the next one.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
If there is a next one.
If there is a next one. This one did super well. I think it made like 70 million. It's like definitely we're getting another one. And I could see these going for a while.
Well, especially with does someone want to handle the stinger?
Oh my God. Wait, hold on real quick. The directors for this, because we didn't even mention this, so it's Adil Arbi and Bilal Fallah. They're Belgians, and they wrote a movie called Image, a movie called Black, which is apparently very, maybe not good, but that's kind of got some acclaim. And they could be I think you could not give them a franchise, but it'd be interesting to see this go from Michael Bay to someone else. And see where it goes for me.
Although Michael Bay is not entirely gone from this movie.
No, he is not. And yeah, he looks weird.
Yeah, he doesn't look good. He
hasn't changed his look at all. What is it with directors? You're like, oh, I'm Martin Scorsese. This is what I look like, and I guess this is how I'll look for the rest of my life, like 1980, and then I guess we're good.
Maybe you're just always, because you're not in front of the camera, you're always worried people aren't going to recognize you, so you never change your look.
I think that's part of it. No, I really do. Spike Lee, all of them. They've dressed the same way since they were 20. And I think that could be part of it, is they're just like, well, my brand is all of this other stuff. So I guess I'm going to have to look one specific way to keep that brand going, because people won't accept me changing because I'm not an actor. I mean, I guess even Will Smith doesn't change. He looks pretty much the same. But yeah, Quentin Tarantino, they all look the same.
Michael Bay plays the wedding MC, the MC for Megan and Reggie's wedding, as a cameo. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I just realized we never actually said it.
And he was in the other ones. I was going to say, he pops in and out of the other ones, too. I forget where he was in 2, but he does show up. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, he was Dan Marino.
Yes, that's 2. Right. Dan Marino wouldn't be caught dead in a Bad Boys movie. Okay, yeah. So the end of the movie, they have like their little. They have a Fast and Furious style cookout. Like, but it's a birthday party, and also everyone leaves immediately right after they bring out the cake. And
it's not a birthday party, isn't it? A congratulations Rita party for getting promoted to Joey Pance's position.
But it's a party. They bring out a cake. Characters have a minute-long conversation, and then everybody leaves. Nobody gets to eat the cake.
Oh, yeah.
What's it for? Not even going to wait to box it up? They're like, it's a joke, and they're like, oh, we're not going to help you raise or babysit this kid. But still.
Oh, yeah, they all just leave, like, straight up.
With you. That was rude. It's a nice cake. Yeah.
Maybe it was just for Mike. Maybe. It was just Mike Lowry's cake.
Mike's thank you or congratulations Rita cake. Yeah. But yeah, the Bad Boys are back, baby. And oh no, is there anything left? Well, first there's 2 like little post credits thingies. First one's like a joke bit. I can't remember what it is.
It's just it's an extension of the airplane scene after Mike switches back because he doesn't want to talk to Marcus anymore. The other guy sits back down and Marcus is like, "Would you fuck a witch without a condom?"
So good. I don't know. It's trashy, but it's the right kind of trashy. There's something special about it.
I actually kind of enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Probably more than the other 2.
Absolutely. And then DJ, let's talk about the post-credit scene.
Yeah. So, well, obviously, Armando has to go to jail.
Yeah.
Because he did a lot of murder.
About as much jail as it gets. Like, he's so much jail.
So because he did all this murder, he gets his like own little special cage cell, but he gets the call. Mike Lowry comes in and he goes, so you did a lot of bad things. I know you're repaying your debt, but if you want to come out and kill some people, you could help repay the debt further.
Yep. It's called the Suicide Squad.
It's called the Badicide Boys. Oh, also, they're not the bad boys anymore. They're the bad men, as far as I'm concerned. Or the good men. At one point, Marcus was like, why can't we just be good men? And I'm like, yeah, why can't you? It's pretty good. Also, like,
but yeah,
he's in the Suicide Squad now.
Yeah, it's literally I saw that and I was like, oh, this is in the DCEU.
Yeah,
and Mike Lowry was Deadshot the whole time, and now he's bringing his son into the Suicide Squad. This is what's happening right now.
And listen, he's the only actor not in the new one, but maybe he is, and it's a secret. Because if anything, the DCEU should be begging to hitch their star to the Bad Boys franchise. Like, 2002, man, maybe that sounds silly, but 2019, yeah, no, that's a great idea. 2020 or whatever. Also,
hey, we're coming up on that Birds of Prey movie.
Oh, I can't wait. I haven't taken enough credit for this yet. In the first episode of Bad Boys, we said, and this is, I can't remember exactly the quote. Do you guys know what I'm going to say?
No.
I said.
It's the thing you said before we started recording.
But I didn't say what it was, did I?
You did.
I don't remember if you did.
Oh, what did I say? Diggins, I'll let you give me credit.
I don't recall what you said. However, I remember you said what it was.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So basically what I said was that I was like, in the episode before, we said something like, I said they've got kids, and someone corrected me, and you said, no, Marcus has kids. And I said, yeah, well, Mike's definitely got kids out there somewhere. And look where we are. He does have kids out there somewhere. I couldn't believe it listening to it again.
Good job.
Thank you. Everybody go back, listen to Bad Boys 1 episode. And, appreciate that. What else? Anything else about Bad Boys 3 Life?
I mean, I think this franchise has legs.
Too.
So...
What country do you think they're going to invade next? Canada?
Colombia. They got to do Colombia.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
shit.
cliche,
oh,
but
no.
you got to do
Come
it.
on, DJ. At this point, it's not Colombia. It's Venezuela.
Yeah, I want like Somalia or something.
Oh, we are at war there.
Yeah,
That's
I want a
true.
completely different kind of country. Like, not like completely different kind, but just different country altogether.
Guys, Canada.
Yeah, that's what I said. Canada's a great one. There's lots of drugs up there. And there's lots of like... well, okay. I think we'd have to go to an oil place because a lot
Canada,
or
Libya,
Venezuela, or like Saudi Arabia, just because I want things to explode and I want oil to be like part of that, or like gas and stuff. I want to beat because currently I believe James Bond Spectre has the record for the biggest explosion in a movie. And it comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't matter, and that movie is bad. So I would like a Bad Boys movie to currently hold that record. And I think if the Bad Boys movies want to sell themselves as something and brand themselves the way the Mission Impossible movies do, they need a big stunt. So every movie's kind of memorable and differentiating. Like, you can differentiate it from the last one. So I think if every movie, they just had a really silly explosion specific to the place where the movie takes place, that would work. For me.
I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll get a spin-off, or not spin-off, but a sequel, and I hope the family is back because I like them a lot.
The family.
Yeah.
I like how you say it, Diggins.
I'm just I play a recording of Vin Diesel when I do that. I'm not making it up myself. That's just what he sounds like.
Here's how you guys do it. I'm going to teach everybody online, or like I'm listening right now, how to say family like Vin Diesel. You tilt your head up about 45 degrees, so you're looking up, but like you're just, your mouth has to be in that position. And then you pull your lip, like not pull your lip, but extend your bottom lip as far as you can. So you got a very cavernous, like your mouth is going to echo a lot of sound. And then without moving anything in your mouth, you just like say family. Family.
Oh my God.
And you get something weird, and that's it. What do you guys... Gosh, what do you got... For people that don't listen to recommendations for some reason, we're going to do Dr. Doolittle. Where's this sit in the Dr. Doolittle franchise?
I think it's the third Doolittle, isn't it?
I think it's the fourth. I think there's a third one where his kid is Doolittle.
What?
Like, I think Eddie Murphy's daughter becomes a Doolittle. If anything, this is Doolittle Origins Doolittle. Because, yeah, we're gonna do Doolittle, the new one, next week. But before we get to that, do you guys want to hit any classic segments? Want to give any recommendations to the people?
Yeah, let's do it.
I would love to.
All right. Well, real quick, we got a transition, so we'll go like this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, wait, it should have been a different part of the movie. Or in the song, because they do switch the song part. So, like, what's the chorus? Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I want you to guess how many movies there are in the Eddie Murphy canon of Dr. Doolittle.
3.
I'm going to go with 4, and one of them's a direct-to-DVD sequel none of us have heard of.
5.
5?
What? Are they all on Disney Plus?
5 with 3 direct-to-video sequels.
Okay.
Shit, motherfucker. That's crazy.
And you're not counting the one that with Robert Downey Jr. that just came out?
I'm not counting that one, no. Because I'm saying it's in the Eddie Murphy canon.
Right.
Although Eddie Murphy does not appear in any of them past 2.
But it is his real daughter from the last ones. I believe.
Yes.
In the third, 3, 4, and 5 is the daughter. All right. So now that we've done that wonderful transition,
sorry.
No. I mean, it was a wonderful transition. DJ, would you like to recommend something to the fine people?
I would. I'm gonna recommend a game that I don't think I've recommended yet. Hopefully, anyway. And Nando, we played like a bastardized version of this last time I saw you, but it's called Medium.
Yeah, that was fun. Why was it a bastardized version? Because I won. No, just kidding. None of us won. We were all really tired.
Yeah, we were all tired and drunk. I don't think we were playing by the actual rules.
Yeah.
So the way it works is everyone has a hand of cards, and the cards just have words on them. It's all kinds of different words. There's like bread, lip gloss, red, all different kinds of words. And you sit in a circle, and on your turn, you pair with the person to your left. And what you have to do is you play a card, and then they play a card. And you have to try and connect on the same word to like for that word. So, example I like to give. So, Nando, let's say we're partners.
Okay.
And this is a real example that Michelle and I did when we just played. So, she played red, and then I played plumber. So, Nando and I, we would count down. Ready? Got red, plumber.
Okay.
We gotta get to one word, right? We get 3, 2, 1.
Luigi.
Mario.
I knew. I was saying in my mind, like, Nando's going to say Luigi.
Yeah, he was. Because Nando couldn't think of anything better than that.
I should have went for the joke and also said Luigi,
and
then again,
people
we
would
did
think
it.
we
Yes,
practiced.
yeah, right, exactly. And then if you connect, great. But if you don't, so like Nando and I missed, then we would have to take the words Mario and Luigi and try to come to a common word without using the words red or plumber. And you get 3 chances, and if you get it, you get a score point. You get more points on the first attempt, the third attempt, and you just go around until you run out of cards. And it's a fun little game.
Yeah, I had a good time with it.
Had a few people to watch the McGregor fight on Saturday, and we were playing that during some of the undercard fights. By the way, that whole card was great. Like, up and down. The only fight that wasn't great was the Holly Holm fight, but otherwise, every fight was awesome. So if you haven't seen it, I guess you could go back and watch it. If you weren't spoiled by the outcome, I won't say the outcome. But yeah, Medium was a good game. And I feel like I've seen a movie that I haven't ranked, but I don't I watched The Irishman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's good, but I'm going to go with the lazy take, and it is too long. Because I felt like I was really invested for, like, the first 2 hours, but then for, like, the last part, I'm like, it doesn't have me as much up until, like, the last 30 or so minutes. Right. So there's, like, a whole hour where I'm just kind of lost in the wilderness, if you will. I do get why it was nominated for everything, and there are some things that should definitely win, but I didn't love it. I just kind of liked it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. You've both seen The Irishman,
yeah,
right?
I liked it.
Indeed, I did.
I'm not crazy about it. Like, it's not my favorite.
You wrecked
movie
it,
of the year.
I think.
Yeah, but I think it's like for a bunch of reasons. Obviously, the performance is great. Al Pacino's great. What's his name's awesome. Joe Pesci's great.
Joe Pesci is really good.
Ray Romano. I just want him to get more and more money. Just keep seeing movies with Ray Romano in them. De-aging's cool. The Philadelphia of it's kind of fun. And I just think the story of what's his name is bizarre. Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah, Jimmy Hoffa. It's pretty wild. And apparently he was that weird of a guy. So it's kind of fun.
All right. Well, those are my recs.
All right.
So that's it.
Diggs, what do you got? You got anything fun to rec to the fine people?
Why, I do. So the year is 2018. Or was it 2017? It was one of them.
I'll tell you when you tell me what it is.
A little TV series started. And when I heard the name, I was like, this is ridiculous. This show is going to be terrible. I'm going to watch it as a joke. And I sat down to watch the first episode, and I got to the end, and I was like, wait a minute. What if this show is good? So I stuck with it for the full 10 episodes, and it turns out it was good. Not only was it good, it was fantastic. I genuinely loved it. But it wasn't renewed at the time. It wasn't going to have a season 2 necessarily. It ended in a fairly conclusive way, so it didn't necessarily need one either. But we then found out later on that it would indeed have a season 2, a second mini-series, if you will, because the name was different. And that mini-series has finally started up. And listeners, if you haven't figured it out by now, I am, of course, referring to The New Pope, the sequel series to The Young Pope, starring Jude Law. If you haven't heard anyone genuinely talk about it before, it's actually a very fascinating series. Very funny at times, too. It's kind of surrealist in some ways, largely grounded. It's not like full-on season 3 of Twin Peaks. It's hard to tell what's even going on at some points. But it deals in very surrealist imagery at times. It is beautiful. It is an utterly beautiful series that uses the imagery of the Catholic Church, which is famously very lavish and sumptuous in really cool and fun ways. And it's surprisingly spiritual also. I know may not be, if you hear the name The Young Pope and I say it's spiritual, you wouldn't be surprised. But if you watch it, it is very clear-eyed about what the modern church is and that it's a very political institution. But at the same time, it allows for a strange kind of divinity to influence the events and to be present as a factor in a way that is genuinely very captivating. And so all of this combined together, it's strange humor, it's realism, it's surprising tenderness and heart at times, all come together to make a show that really kind of blew me away when I first saw it. And I am excited as hell for this new season. So if you haven't seen it before, I highly recommend The Young Pope, and then to check out its new season, The New Pope.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I would like to actually give that a look. because I love Jude Law, and
he is fantastic in The Young Pope. By the way, he is so magnetic. For a lot of it, he is holding that show together.
God damn, who's the original Pope in 1? Or not Pope? Who's the guy that's playing against him?
That is Cardinal Voyello, played by Silvio Orlando.
Oh, okay. He's fun. Whoever it was,
he's really good too.
Seen a couple episodes, be like, I like this guy. I don't know why I didn't finish it.
He's great. He's like he's probably the second most important character after Jude Law,
right?
As the Pope, and he is really great. Like over time, he comes to be as important to that show as Jude Law is.
Nice. Speaking of HBO shows, I'm going to recommend 2. Even though I've seen a ton of movies, saw Jojo Rabbit, liked it. Not really ready to recommend it. Not ready, but that's not what I want to recommend as badly. Because I love 2 shows on HBO. So the first one is Avenue 5. It is by that guy whose name I can never quite remember, who made Veep and Death to Stalin. And it's
Armando Iannucci.
There you go. Yeah, Armando Iannucci. Super funny. The premise is basically there is what is effectively a space cruise ship operated by a bunch of morons, kind of, but like not like dummies, just like kind of general bad people or incompetent people or a competent person surrounded by bad people, just like kind of Veep. And there is a non-specific disaster that makes everything go poorly, and it starts to unravel. We're only 1 episode in, but I quite enjoyed it. And if you liked Veep and Death Stall and all that stuff, you're going to dig it. So I'd say watch that, but yeah, there's 1 episode, and I think if you watch it and you like it, stick with it, and if you don't like it, that's probably not for you. 3 episodes of a different show I watched. I was at a bar the other day, and I heard a guy talking to another guy about a show he liked called The Outsider. I didn't know what it was. He just said it was intriguing and had something to do with Stephen King. I'm not completely sure. I believe it feels like it definitely could be. But it's a show that I don't want to get too much into, but there's some sort of murder in a town, and a police officer or something, I forget exactly what he is, from the town has to investigate it. The officer's played by Ben Mendelsohn, and that's all I really, you'll kind of get the rest of it as you go. There's a bunch of other character actors thrown in there. Jason Bateman, I guess, also he's a pretty big figure in it. You'll kind of recognize from the start. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's, well, I mean, it's not unlike other Stephen King material, so be prepared for that. But I don't know. I usually don't watch these. I don't know why. It must just be because that guy at the bar seems so convincing that I think it's kind of fun. So, yeah, I'd say if you're in for a downer, that. If you're in for a nice, fun, good time, Avenue 5. Either way, HBO's got you covered. That is a weird way to end that rec. There's
it's
other
not TV, it's HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Also, the Harley Quinn show on DC Network, still great. Love it. I would
nice.
Yeah, I'd recommend that to people if you kind of dig those characters or you're curious about it. Try to find an episode. And see what you think, because it's actually really funny and really clever and genuine. But it's not done yet, but it's almost done. All right, next week, Doolittle.
Woo,
so
Doolittle.
Oh boy,
indeed.
Excited.
Anything to plug, DJ Diggins?
Nah, I'm good.
I should have a review of the first episode of The New Pope going up on the popbreak.com or thepopbreak.com. That'll probably be up by the time you're listening to this, so you can go check that out.
Cool.
I think my cat's video will come out this week, and then after that, who the hell knows? I really do want to make a video about how Dolomite and Joker are the same movie, but one's good and one's bad. But I haven't quite fit. I was hoping I could write more of it on the plane than I did. Because I was distracted by the football game, which I guess congratulations, Chiefs and the other one, 49ers. Although, man, I don't want to congratulate the 49ers as much as I want to uncongratulate Aaron Rodgers, because that was a crazy game.
It's going to be a good Super Bowl.
It's going to be interesting.
Legit.
Any Super Bowl that doesn't have the Patriots is a good Super Bowl.
Goddamn right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Love that take.
So next week, you want to say Zoolander, Doolander, Doolittle bought a zoo. Until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.